Movies can have a lasting impression on you and bring back great memories. Certain images you will always remember. Things that have been with me all my life and keep getting added to with every movie I see.
I will turn this place into the fucking Wild Bunch if I think you are fucking with me.
E.T. from home.
This is the end of your rotten life, you motherfucking dope pusher.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Welcome to My Cellular Heart Podcast, Season 4, Episode 149. This is a podcast where normally we take two films that live in our head and heart and bring them together over two episodes by one topic or theme. That's a lot to say, but today we're just going to talk about movies. I'm your host, Phillip Duke, and unfortunately Chip is not with us today, but I am here with... Go ahead, guys.
You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Let's do this. I'm Arsenio. How's everyone doing?
And I'm Tim.
All right. And you've heard Tim before. Arsenio's new to the show. So cool. Tim was like, oh, yeah, Arsenio wants to be on the show. And I'm like, well, maybe we could all do it. And he's like, no, I don't want to be on your show anymore. Like,
I'm done.
Arsenio do it. Yeah,
I'm done.
I've already done 4 of art movies that nobody cares about.
You're a one-hit wonder and you're already ready to go. Drop the mic. Like,
right?
I don't want
exactly.
to.
I got my checks.
Need to come back to her. Yeah,
exactly. And then I was like, so I don't know if you listened to last week's show, but I said, so I'd asked Tim, well, what would Arsenio want to do? He goes, I'm not sure, but one of his inspirations for his short film Whispers was Lights Out. And I said, oh, I'll check it out. It's on Hulu. Scared the fucking hell out of me. Like my heart.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Chip, I go, I don't know. Chip's like, it was a tightness of your chest. I go, no, it's like my heart would jump whenever the lights would go out or whatever. And I was explaining it to somebody the other day and they got freaked out just by me saying, like, you got to stay in the light. Yeah, it was Chip. I was like, you got to stay in. Chip's like, oh shit. I'm like, yeah, it's really good. And normally with horror movies, you're just like, it's a horror movie. I know it's filmed here. They got a jump scare. Okay, whatever. This was like, holy shit. And then you think that guy's going to be the lead, the guy from Starship Troopers. And you're like, he's fucking, okay, wait a minute. Yeah. What am I in for?
Yeah.
So
did you see the short film or did you just see the actual film?
I saw the actual film, but
okay.
So I should watch a short film then.
I think it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
YouTube channel.
I think I've seen it on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I saw the film, but
that's awesome. Yeah.
I forgot that there was a short film. But yeah, that was my favorite last week. Was like, holy shit. Like I gave it 4 hearts. Like I was like, oh my God, so great. But who are you guys? And what'd you do with Chip? Where's Chip at?
Who are we?
That's a very interesting question.
It's a loaded question.
That's right. Yeah. It's like, well, Socrates and Plato said,
Well, we wanted Chip on, but scheduling.
Yeah. He has to work at Walmart today, so. But
we should just follow him around with our microphones. And
I know, right?
Yeah, he's running in with like the Mari camera, just running in. Like, so what are you doing?
Yeah, see his boss pop in every once in a while. What are you doing? I'm trying to get groceries, but hang on, I'm in the middle of a podcast.
Arsenio, you haven't been on the show, so explain who you are.
Oh yeah, huh? Because I guess there's no.
This isn't my show.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Whenever I do this, I'm always like, that's on Tim's thing. They already know me.
You're like, what number is this? Am I 15 now? Did I beat Nick yet? Yeah.
Sorry. I remember that one. Our fake rivalry online or on the podcast. That was great. And then I guess just a side note, when Tim came over when we were shooting Whispers, we pulled up the like promo video for that 3-hour Star Wars thing, and I was laughing so hard because I'm like, I got so committed to this thing. It was so funny.
Yeah.
All right, hello everyone. I'm Arsenio. I'm born and raised in LA. Currently in the Bay Area right now. Just grew up always loving movies, always watching movies and just studying them and just really appreciating them. And just like to almost steal a quote, it's like I knew from a young age I always wanted to be a film director, and I always wanted to be a movie involved in the movies in some way, shape, or form. started from like Star Wars and Jurassic Park and like those type of movies, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, and just like the natural curiosity of like, how did they make that? Like how is that possible type of thinking. And then it really got kicked in when it was my mom took me to go see Alien versus Predator. She took me out of school early to go see Alien versus Predator because I really wanted to see it.
That's
and
cool.
She was like, okay. And already within minutes of the movie, I was getting freaked out because I was thinking at the time, I think it was 10 or 9, something like that, when it came out, and that was my first Alien or Predator movie like ever. You know,
I thought you had wanted to see it because you had seen. Okay,
no, it just looked really cool,
right,
and I've never seen the other movie, so I was like, okay, I want to see this one. Like, this actually looks really cool. So seeing it, I was getting really freaked out, and my mom was like, "Don't look at it as the movie. Look at it as those are people in costumes. How did they make that costume? You know?"
Yeah.
And then then my brain kind of went into, how did they make that costume? Like, how did they do that and everything? And I remember seeing it on, I don't think they do it anymore, but they do it. I used to be on FX. They had like movie of the week or
and then they play
FX premiere. Yeah. And they used to have like the behind the scenes snippet. Yeah. And they would show like them actually in costume and them doing all the combat and everything. I'm just like, what? I'm like, compared to what we see and then what they actually shot, to me was just insane. You know, it was like, it was so cool to see. And so for that, I was like, okay, like I'm like, if it's just a person in a costume, I can do this. Like, there's no way that I can't do this, you know? And then I think just going back even more, I guess, fast forwarding in time, going back in topic to David F. Sandberg, director of Lights Out, seeing him go from YouTube and Vimeo, just short films he just kind of put out. There was no like, oh, I'm going to make it into Hollywood. I'm going to, whatever. It's just like, he just had a love and passion for movies and movie making. So, and then eventually he got recognized for it. And so I think, and seeing him where he's at now, going from Lights Out to Annabelle Creation, which if you got freaked out at Lights Out, watch Annabelle Creation. Oh my gosh, I think scary. Oh man,
do I have to watch the other Annabelles, or can I start with Creation?
Annabelle Creation.
This one's a prequel to
like
the first
origin of
right.
Annabelle.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
It's really, really good. And then because he does a lot of scares and a lot of things that you don't see coming, or you see it coming, and you're just like, it's the tension and the waiting and the way he makes you wait so long, And I love that about him. And then he does Shazam, which is like more comedic, but he still pulls it off. And then I'm just like, I can, like, I see him, and I was fortunate enough to meet him because I was working at the LA Film Festival at the time, and they premiered Lights Out at the film festival, and I was able to meet him and his wife, and was able to talk to him a little bit. But I was like, he's just one of us. He's just like a guy just making his movies, and he just happened to get this break. And I'm like, like that. I think I was in 2016. I think that was the summer 2016 that I saw it, and I was like, we can do this. Like, this is something I can do. Because I was within the first 6 months of me being in film school, was right around that time. So for me, it was even more like, gave me a drive for like, I can do this. This is possible. This is attainable,
Yeah.
Like, even though if it may take me, I don't know, however many years, I will make it there, eventually. But I guess that's about.
And did you guys both meet in the same film school, or
we did not meet at school?
No, we at school. We met at Universal Studios. We both worked in the food department there.
Fun times.
Fun times.
You got red on you.
Got red on you.
Let me get to some corrections, because then Chip had a really good question, but let's get to some corrections first.
You were wrong. Wrong. Finger guns. Wrong. Wrong, and you're winning.
So Tom Cruise was doing All the Right Moves, Risky Business, and The Outsiders in 1983 when they were filming Streets of Fire. So I think he did the better choice. Like,
He said no, Walter.
but still, he would have been way better than Michael Pare as, the lead character. And then Chip and I were trying to figure out who the cop was, why Peter Jason, who Chip looked up, was like, oh, it's Peter Jason. We were like, why does he look familiar? He said some speech or something. I was like, yeah. And then we looked up, he's a bartender in 48 Hours. That's like telling Eddie Murphy, like, no, you I don't care that you're a cop. You can't be here. Yeah. And he kind of berates him. So that's the end of that. There we go. There's a corrections. Now let's get on with the show. And Chip said, how did everyone meet that's involved in projects? Like Alex and you, and you got Nick.
We're going that far back.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying in a tight enough cohesive thing.
I met them through Tim, and then I met Tim at Universal because I was the lead food person. Like basically, if you had a problem or looking for a refund, you're like, oh, talk to the manager. Oh, manager's not here, but I am. Like that was me.
Yeah.
And then I met Tim at Gru's Lab.
Was it Gru's Lab or Gru's Cafe?
No, it was Gru's Lab. It was Gru's Lab Cafe, but we always called it Gru's Lab. But I remember that was our first day, and that was just, it was, it felt like almost immediately that we were just like pretty much like we had a definite chemistry and just we just talking off of each other, know?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing with movies. Just I was working at not Universal Studios, but a sex shop called Casa Boutique.
That's like Universal though.
And yeah, pretty much minus the sex. Well, maybe it depends on where you go in the
Horror Nights.
Horror Nights. That's why it's called Horror Nights. That's right. No, but I'm working there and I'm working overnight, and this security guard goes, oh my God, like you like movies, you need to talk to Sergio. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then Sergio and I are working the same shift one day, and he's like, are you Phillip? I guess I'm supposed to meet you. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm supposed to meet you. He's like, why? All of a sudden we started Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino, blah, blah, and we're like, oh my God, it's Step Brothers. Did we just become best friends? Yeah. So
I feel like that's pretty much me and Tim.
Well,
we just become best friends.
Didn't we weren't even talking about movies at first, Arsenio. We were doing like SpongeBob quotes on the.
It was SpongeBob. We bonded over SpongeBob
on the hotline.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah,
because I came in one day and Tim was already there. I saw Tim because we were already talking about just SpongeBob in general, like how we just both love SpongeBob and the quotes are so quotable. I bursted in the door and I was like, warm up those fryers. And then, since then, it was always like a Krusty Krab reference. Since then.
Oh, that's great.
Like we got the whole hotline on it too. Like anybody that worked with us was like always quoting something.
That's funny. Yeah, me. I mean, it's a movie, but me and the wife, we bonded over she said Step Brothers lines, and like we were talking on the phone, and I'm like, oh, and she goes, oh, you know Step Brothers? I'm like, of course I know Step Brothers. And then one day she's like, I want to touch you with a 39.5-foot pole. I go, oh, Dr. Seuss. She's like, oh, you know Dr. Seuss? I say, yeah. So anyway, it's not about me. It's about you guys.
So then
I feel like that's how I feel, because I always make references in pretty much on a daily speak. Like you can ask anyone, every other thing out of my mouth is a reference to a movie, a show, a song, whatever, and then everyone at my job was like, okay, I know it's a reference to something, but I don't know what it is. Tell me,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's the whole reason why I started this podcast, because I was even telling my bosses the other day, and now my bosses know that I'm that guy. So they're like, you still doing that podcast? And I'm like, yeah. And I go, yeah, we did a Walter Hill thing. And he's like, okay. And then my boss is like, I listened to that one episode. What was that thing Quentin Tarantino has? I go, feet. He likes feet. Yeah, that was it. And then I said something else to him, and it was totally like nobody did anything. And I'm like, okay, this is why I started a podcast, because a long time ago I was like, Dana Carvey really plays drums on Wayne's World. And my buddy, we're sitting in theater. My buddy turns to me and he goes, my friend Bob plays the drums. I go, who's Bob? He goes, exactly. I'm like, oh, okay, you don't care. I get it. So yeah, I was like, I'll start a podcast of useless info. But if you're a movie guy, you can listen to my show. But anyway, I'm sorry, Tim. Go ahead. Yes.
I was gonna say, so that's how me and
trying to talk. Me and
I've been trying to talk.
Arsenio and I show. Like,
I'm trying to get in the show.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Tim.
I should start my own podcast or something.
You don't even go here.
Yeah. Call it Lighting Up the Marquee.
That's still on hiatus.
Yeah.
Temporary has gone to indefinite.
Pretty much.
Right.
But yeah, that's how Arsenio and I met. And then I met Alex also in Los Angeles, but we went to the same college, but we didn't meet until our last semester, really. In Los Angeles. And then I met Nick. We took one class called image design, and then he was in my directing one class. And I remember him coming up to me after directing one, because we had to do it was like a project where you take a series of photos that tells a story, but just through photos. Mm-hmm. And he used the same project from image design in directing one. And he comes up to me after class and he's like, I thought you were going to call me out on using the same project. And I was like, I don't fucking care, dude. You do what you got to do.
I fooled you. I'm the teacher. You're fired.
So then since then, me and him have pretty much bonded over like movies and stuff. And we'll like see each other around on campus every now and again. But we always just kept in touch because he graduated, I think, the year before me. So, and then we all got... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, it's your show. You go ahead.
I take it over. This is my podcast.
I know. Right. I was gonna have you. I was gonna have you guys start the show with, like, hey, welcome, and then I was gonna butt in. Hey, wait a minute, it's my show.
No, get out of here.
But no, something that, because what you guys do is amazing. For one, I told Tim. I don't know if Tim probably doesn't pass anything off. He probably tells me that's a great story, Phillip. And then doesn't tell anybody else. I had told him that a long time ago, and I might have said on the show, a long time ago, I was like, hey, if we had a production, like what if I had a bunch of cameras, a bunch of lights, a bunch of mics, a bunch of whatever we need. You had an idea for a movie. You come to me and go, hey, I don't have any equipment, but I have an idea for a script. Or you didn't write it, but you have an idea. Then I can write it. We can go make it. And we're all happy. But this is no good when you're the only guy who wants to do that. Everybody else was like, sounds good, but nobody had any ideas. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. And I had no equipment, but I was like, we'll call it Common Goal Pictures. And the beginning would be like 3 guys shooting a soccer ball into a goal because you're all on the common goal to make a movie. I said, that'd be great. The difference with this is what me and Brandt talked about the other day. So Brandt he's a friend of the show. He had written a script one time, and I'll try to make this quick. Wrote a script, was going to make a movie. He was working in LA for a TV station, and he was like, hey, can you guys, a friend there was like, oh, I know Jeff Fahey. He can be in your, he was in, for you young kids, he was in
he was in Grindhouse.
Robert Rodriguez's,
Lost.
But I couldn't think of Planet Terror.
Machete.
I couldn't think of,
Machete.
He's in the Lawnmower Man.
So he was see, I didn't know you guys know Lawnmower Man, but yeah, if you want to dive that deep, you want to put a double bill, we could do Lawnmower Man, Virtuosity.
He is the Lawnmower Man.
That's right. So he was going to be in the film. So he's like, sure, I'll be in your movie. Like, I'll take 2 weeks out, blah, blah, blah. Nobody showed up to help. Everything started falling apart. And we were talking about how much is on you as a director to do something. And this is for like, he was going to make a big feature. And my thing in the beginning was I was going to make a big feature. But it's that thing of what I realized, unlike you two, is I said, I love movies. I want to make a movie. I like to write scripts. Not that this show is about me, but I thought I wrote a big old thing. I'm going to try to shorten it up. I go to college in like 90 when you guys are little kids or not even born yet. And you weren't born yet. Anyway, in the early 90s, right after high school, I graduated in 90. And I said, gee, what do I want to be? And I'm in the junior college, and I see this pamphlet for like video editing or video production. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I like movies. So I find that, and I find a script writing one, and I take it, and then I have to take some stupid like math and English, like real classes. I'm like, fuck that. So I took those. I failed English. I dropped out English and did algebra. Anyway, so I did all that. I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Yeah. And then right around then was Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez stuff, everything's hitting. And I'm like, oh my God, like, yeah. Talking to these people, hey, you don't act, but do you want to be in my thing while I'm working at Suncoast Motion Picture Company at the mall? Yeah, I'll be in it. Okay. Not realizing nobody can act. When you get people that can't act, I realized it with my one friend where I thought, oh, she can act. We bring her in to do a short film and she reads this part. And I'm like, my buddy's like, she sucks. And I'm like, my buddy who's doing the camera, I go, I know. It all comes down to this. My buddy goes, how do you want this shot to be done? By the time we try to do the big film that I had, all these, whatever, couldn't do that. So we were going to do a short film. My buddy goes, how do you want me to film this shot now? I go, like Once Upon a Time in the West, when it's like with the eyes and the harmonica, and he's like, dude, I don't know movies like you. Do you want a medium shot, a long shot? Like, so I'm thinking already end project. Like, I'm like, this, it's like, that scene in Seven when he's up against the garbage truck and he's got the gun to his head and it's raining. Like, yeah, he's like, dude, I can't do that. I have a camera from the news that we're filming. Oh, okay. So that was a thing that I realized, oh, maybe I'm just a writer and I'm not the director, because if you put me in a room to go, okay, edit this together, I don't know. I did it once. So I was telling Tim, there used to be an old thing on Die Hard. Wow, Philip, you're making this about you. I'm sorry. This will end after this.
No,
you're good.
There was a thing on
this is actually very interesting to hear. So I'm like, I'm all in.
There was a thing on the silver DVD, double DVD set of Die Hard. Mm-hmm. And in there you could edit the scene when he's trying to break into he's talking to Takagi. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I need the codes. Takagi's like, they're going to change the code soon. He goes, I need the codes. In there, you can put the scenes together. Do you want more Alan Rickman while he's just thinking, while Takagi's talking off screen? Do you want Takagi talking, cut to, Alexander Goodenough, like all that. So I'm like, oh, wow. So I do it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there's something about, for one, because you've seen it millions of times, the way it's done. Like, you're like, no, that's good. If you had to redo it, it wouldn't work, And so it's those things, when to push in at the moment of feeling, when to, just linger, when to, do your, Tim did that Michael Bay shot in Sushi, like going around the actors.
Arsenio, you didn't put the explosions in.
I was gonna say, I was like, it was Michael Bay shot, but the only thing we missed was the explosions over there.
And a big Miami sign, right?
Yeah. And it just didn't look hot.
That's right. And
nobody was sweating.
Didn't go through a keyhole and come out somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Ambulance was up and down the buildings and too much. Anyway,
I need to see that movie. That's one I want to see.
You should see it just to see it. But my wife as a nurse was like, this would not happen. She stops bleeding with like her hair crunchy thing, her hair. Anyway. But yeah, so then I realized after I was going to make this big feature film, being as Arsenio said, it was interesting, Tim, so fuck you. So I said, I want to film this big film that I wrote, and it takes place in Glendale in the downtown. So I go downtown. I'm like, hey, I want to film here. They go, no, go to, where you go zoning. So I go to zoning. Zoning goes, no, you got to talk to the cops. Cops go, no, you got to go to town hall. All the way around, finally you get to a lady that's in charge of like films for Phoenix. So I go, yeah. She goes, oh, are you with that new Charlie Sheen project? And I'm like, and my buddy goes, you should have said yes. Give me everything. I'm with the Charlie Sheen movie. So I was like, no. And what it was, the lead singer of Poison, when he was he directed like a couple films. That was one of the ones that he directed here. And so I was just like, no, I'm not. She's like, well, look, if you're gonna make this movie, we have to close off the streets. We have to close all of those antique shops. You have to pay all those antique shops the money that they're losing for that day. You have to pay the cops to watch the streets. So if you wrote it and you say it takes place in Arizona, just put it in the desert. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I rewrote everything like in the middle of the desert or whatever. So that was just interesting. But then I had like a shot list for, then my buddy goes, do a shorter film. So I said, oh, what about these two Alfred Hitchcock movies that Marnie, do you know Marnie?
I've seen
Marnie?
it. Yeah.
You know the scene when she's stealing from the safe and like the housekeeper is cleaning.
Yeah.
And it's real tense and you're like, oh shit, she's going to catch her. So there's that. And then there's Torn Curtain where Paul Newman kills a guy, him and this lady kill a guy in this, and they throw him in the stove, but it takes a long time to kill the guy. So I showed that to my friend Sergio. I go, we should do a short film like this. And he goes, well, then write it. Again, I'm thinking he's going to help. So I go home, but I'm so inspired. I just write it out.
Reminds me of you, Tim.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Pretty much.
And I'm like, okay, I wrote this whole thing, but then it's got like 96 shots just for the kitchen for like a 5-minute scene. But I wanted it all like the guy's going for the toaster. And then you get in arguments with people. You can't kill a guy with a toaster. I'll kill you with a toaster and I'll show you. No, it should be the pan. I don't want a frying pan. I want the guy to wrap his hand with the toaster, like Suicide Kings or something, beat him with the toaster. So anyway, those are the conversations you can have with movie guys. Suicide Kings. Oh yeah, I know the shot you mean. Dennis Leary killing people. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Sorry, guys. Goodness.
No, you're good.
It's all good.
That's how y'all met. Okay, thank you. The end.
No, because hearing all that pretty much reminds me of, I think, kind of like how me and Tim got a little bit more involved in like making movies together. Because it's like I remember us having a conversation. I'm like, dude, like I want to make a movie. I want to make short films, but the thing is that I have no one to help me. It's just me. You know,
yeah.
I can ask favors, I can have whatever, but it's just like, you know, it's just me. Because I remember there was one film we made together. Tim was my actor, and it was me running the sound, me running the shot, me running, you know, everything. And so it was just like, you know, I didn't have much help, and I think that was the moment for I think both of us where we're like, okay, if we're gonna like begin doing this, we need to set up like a good team
a
together.
Stable of people.
Well, we all because we did that, and like I was kind of helping you on set, like I was your actor, but I was kind of being like, oh, you can maybe shoot it this way for what we work with, and then we said like, oh, we should do this like, you know, like every month, like get a little script together, like do something in a day, and then COVID happened. Like, literally the next month.
Well, and that's what I was thinking about when you're making Whispers. How does Tim not go, oh, you're doing that shot? No, what you need to do,
don't worry.
And you're going, shut the fuck up. This is mine. You did yours. This is my turn.
There were times that just as like from the producer standpoint, being like, how are you going to make this work with this?
Right. And I think, but a lot of times with not only you, but with Logan too. Logan was my DP. Was that there was like maybe 4 or 5 different versions of Whispers, specifically the ending and specifically how I get her from one place to another, you know, and build tension there. And I think at first I was like, oh, we open it with this one shot. It'll be nice, you know, this show the cityscape or whatever. And then when we actually were shooting it, I was like, wow, we don't have time for that, you know? It's just like time is fleeting and it's like, it does not slow down. And so I was like, all right. And then both Tim and Logan, they were like, okay, well, we already have this shot. What if we go to this? And they're like, okay, no, that looks good. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm already in my head, because I'm the editor as well. So I'm already editing in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do here, push in here, go, you know, do this angle like that. So already in my head when it's done, throw it in Premiere, I already know where the cuts are. And I think that's one thing that I know I drive Tim crazy because I do not like script notes, and I don't like stuff like that because they're like, okay, circle that take. I'm like, I'll use every take. Like, it's not like I'm not going to use a take. I will use it regardless. I'll just keep everything and I'll figure out what I need, you know? I feel like I'm like, like, I'm not saying I'm as good as David Fincher, but I feel like I'm David Fincher in that way where I'm just like, just give me every take and I'll build it in the edit, you know?
How dare you, sir?
It drives me crazy.
I'm listening to this news just in. Arsenio says he's David Fincher.
No, definitely not.
The something that's in there. I was just listening to William Fichter is on a podcast on Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, and he talked about he was directing a movie and he went to the editor and was like, no, take that shot out, show this guy, show this. And then he goes, then I went home and I realized, oh shit, I'm cutting myself out of the movie because I don't like watching myself. He goes, so now we meet up and we go, okay, you do the, and that's what I think Clint said. Like, don't focus on, I think he was telling Bradley Cooper or something. Don't focus on so you just need to. So right here, I was telling a story about editing yourself out of a movie. If you're the director, you have to be careful not to do that. And then Tim Zoom went out on his end, and he was the group lead of the Zoom, and so when it went down, stopped recording us, and so then he joined back in later. But what we had talked about was I kept talking, and I was talking about filming yourself for like what Arsenio was making this movie. And who wasn't putting himself in it, but he was making his movie. Then I was talking about how difficult it was to make this movie. So that's where I was leading to my 95, 96 shots in the kitchen that leads me to explain the rest of the story about how hard it is to just even make a short film. So I had these 95 shots in one kitchen, and then also we were going to have to film like at the desert where the guy's going to get killed and then he has deja vu and whatever. And then my buddy, I'm like, that's too much. And it's one of those as a writer, you're like, and kind of producer or whatever you run into, then I'm like, well, wait, let me drop it down even more. So then I'm like, let's just film in one house. So I wrote this thing called Heresy, where a guy isn't cheating on his wife, but he's crazy and blah, blah, blah. And we were going to do that. We started filming it. And I had no idea like how to direct. I was just like, film him talking, saying the scenes. But what did come out was in the kitchen, there was a scene where she asked him for a divorce. It's just him and her in the kitchen. And it was done as like a long shot. And I was just doing that to like, here's where we are. And then we're going to go in. But everything came out like good, like where you get chills the way he wrote it. So like she says, I want a divorce. He says, but honey, I love you. Or she reaches in her purse, pulls out a pen for him to sign the papers. He throws a pen away. I said, you don't want to sign the papers. Throw the pen. He does. I told her, I go, you have 50,000 pins in here. Like you're always going to pull out a pen. No matter what he does, you got pins. And so she pulls out another pen. She's like, but I'm not in love with you. You know, I love you too. I'm not in love with you. And I was like, oh my God, I just got chills because that's exactly how I wrote it. Like, oh my God. And then shit happened and the kids have football and and all of a sudden we're like, oh, we can't finish my movie. Okay. So then I accidentally threw those tapes away in the trash because I thought they were cables and I threw those away.
Oh no.
It's like, oh motherfucker. So anyway, can you guys hear my dogs? I hope not.
A little bit, not too bad though.
Nah, that's fine.
Yeah, I have the dog buffer on there. But anyway, I'm sorry to make this all about me. But anyway, so then I went minimalistic and
Well, the having like the 95 shots reminds me of when I was directing sushi, because in the boutique store, initially I think Nick and I had about 20 something shots, and then because we were restricted with time and
Nick, you had to film that thing in what, 2 hours, 3 hours?
I mean, they wanted us to do it in like, basically 1 hour. And I said, that ain't happening. So we took 20 shots down to 7, but like in the grander scheme, it worked because it matched the rest of the style of the film. It would have been weird for having one scene have like a bunch of different coverage shots when like the rest of the film is pretty natural, like only a few cuts per scene.
Yeah, exactly. Let me go close to this back door.
Hang on. All right, Arsenio, we're taking over the show now.
Yeah.
It's our show now. Phil's gone for good.
Listen to me.
We got Chip.
Listen to me.
We got Chip gone. Now it's us.
One by one, man. One by one. We're chipping all the way.
That's what we do.
This is our podcast
We're
now.
chipping away at Chip.
Exactly. We're chipping away at Chip.
That's what we do. I still have yet to meet Chip. Every time I'm on this podcast, Chip is never here.
What if you and Chip are the same person? That's why you're never on the same on
We're like Moon
time.
Knight.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Later,
your alter ego.
Gators.
You just don't know.
Later, Gators.
Gators.
Oh, I hear the dogs.
Let's see. Let's look at his wallpaper. Reservoir Dogs. Okay.
He's got the big Fargo. Yeah, he's got a lot of Reservoir Dog. Like,
dude, I remember the first time I saw Fargo, and I was so.
Oh, like, don't you know?
Don't you know? Like it's in a weird way, it's like a dark comedy. Because it's like, because I was like, even like the most outlandish, violent things, I was laughing so hard because I was like, dude,
well, that's what they do. It's like Coen brothers are such dark comedians. Like I love Burn After Reading.
Mm-hmm.
When freaking spoiler, when Brad Pitt gets shot in the head, and it's so nonchalant.
I know that was so random and like I was not ready for that at all.
And he just smiles out of the coats. It's such a good shot. It's such a good scene.
I think I think you could say they're almost like No Country for Old Men was like their like horror movie because that movie was God, because he's their Michael Myers, you know.
Yeah, we're talking about your wallpaper and talking about Fargo and the Coen brothers. We were talking about sushi and
because it was too hot and all
right
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it'd look weird if it was in a weird or there was so much coverage on the
having to cut down shots due to time restraints in the boutique store and working around that, and again matched up with the rest of the film. So
yeah,
it worked out in the long run. So it's a happy accident.
Exactly. I guess we should get to some questions. And your Arsenio, your camera seems blurred, but I think it's because your sun's coming up or whatever.
Yeah, it's very With the sun over here, it gets very bright and then it gets very dim. So
can't see your beautiful face, but it's all right.
It's okay. So, we got Tim's to substitute.
No.
So here's the question. Come on, well, the judgment's out on that. The verdict is out on that. I'm an old guy. Look at me. Anyway, so something that me and Brandt, I was over at Brandt's. I'm getting those DVDs and stuff from him, and he's like, and he asked me a question. He said, "Would you rather lose your sight or lose your hearing from being a movie lover?" And I'm like, "Oh, I think I'd rather lose my hearing because movies are all about, I think, more visual than, there's other movies that, are compared. Both of them go together, but me and Tim like silent films, so we can lose our hearing and just see how I speak for you, Tim. You don't need to answer this question. But I don't know though. But then you got something like The Ecstasy of Gold that's so good, or any Quentin Tarantino movie with music in it that just hits, but now you can't hear that, or you can't hear the snappy dialogue. Like, oh, so anyway, what do you guys?
I think I would say honestly hearing, just because film is, again, like you said, like it's a visual medium. Like sound is also a huge part of it too, but like I feel like if you're just listening to a movie, like you can take it in, but you're not getting the full impact. You're just, literally two people could be talking on the street and you can be like, oh, it's like,
well, even like, now let's take it back to your and I's favorite Chaplin. You got Chaplin. Now you're just hearing music and you're like, did somebody put on an album? What
right.
But something with that was, Arsenio was like, am I gonna answer? No, not right now.
No, you're fine.
What was it? Where was I going with that? Oh, was that I forget, whatever you were saying. Ditto. There was something about me with hearing, like it was something about where
like
I
you
was
can't hear the dialogue.
I know what it was. I'm so happy now. See how my hands are up in the air. I went to school with this blind kid. I told this story kind of on the show, or maybe I just told Brandt. Anyway, had this blind kid. We watched in school. You used to watch, you people are too young for this, but they used to play like little reel to reel. It was like 10-minute, and they'd play a video. And so they had Star Wars A New Hope, but it was 10 minutes, like everything in A New Hope that you don't have to watch a movie. You can show it to kids. It's like 10 or 15 minutes. So they go, Phillip, you're going to be in charge of telling Sean, this blind kid, what the movie's about. Now, explain to me. Now, I'm blind. I'm going to close my eyes and act like I'm blind. See, I don't need to close my eyes to pretend I'm blind. Anyway, now you explain to me what a TIE fighter is, what an X-Wing is. All I'm saying is there's a spaceship, and this kid's been blind from birth, so he doesn't even know, like, if it's somebody who went blind later, they can maybe go, okay, I know what a plane looks like, but I'm going this, and I'm trying to explain it as it's going, but I'm also invested, like, oh, so I think for sure, like hearing, like, all the deaf people now listening to my podcast are upset, see the joke. Fuck you guys. No. What do you have to say, Arsenio?
I think for me, I wouldn't mind losing my sight, mainly because it's like you can almost, because they used to do before like movies were really mainstream, you used to sit around the radio and listen to audio dramas, and it was your
theater of the mind,
right? Yeah. And then because I did an audio drama myself. It was unintentionally like a one-man crew where I did all the voices for it, and the sound design, music, and everything. And hearing it, and you could kind of hear in your head, it's like you don't know what's going on, but you hear the dampness, you hear the way someone speaks, and in your head, you're like, okay, I picture them to look like this. And something that even like what James Wan does so well is that it's not what's seen, it's what you don't see, but you hear, and I think with that, it's like less is more. So in this way, it's taken away in an entire sense just to have your brain and imagination be that much more potent to the sounds you're hearing. Because even if like you turn off the visual of Jurassic Park and say you've never seen a dinosaur, but you hear the T-Rex stomp and the growl, and you're like, that thing's huge, obviously that's danger, or like that's, and of course, like what you conjure up in your head is possibly even more scarier than what you would probably ever see, So I think for me, I'd be okay losing my sight, even though I feel like I'm more of like I love the visuals of movies, but I feel like it's the sound design that enhances the visuals, because you can have an awesome visual, but just suck in sound design, and it just it throws it off to where it just looks goofy,
Well, and that's interesting because after Daredevil came out, the TV show, then I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to watch this old film noir called DOA. So I'm gonna listen to it with the descriptions on YouTube. And I listened to it, and it was true where it's not that movie that you're seeing it different in your head because you don't see the set or what the door that he's going through. So that is interesting. And that also led me to when Psycho came out, everybody was walking out of there going, oh my God, I can't believe they showed blood and they showed all the cuts. And it was like, that was chocolate syrup. And I barely showed, all you saw was a knife and a belly. And the knife never entered the belly. Like it's just your imagination. So, but anyway, let's get on with the show. Arsenio's got places to go. I said, honey, I gotta go do a podcast with Tim and Arsenio. She goes, Arsenio Hall? I know him. What was the first movie that you saw in the theater? Well, yours was Alien vs. Predator.
No, first movie I saw in theaters. First movie that I remember seeing in theaters was Phantom Menace.
Wow, I'm old. Yeah.
The first one that I remember, or that my mom said I saw in theaters, was Bug's Life. But the first one I remember was Phantom Menace.
It's good. It's good that you weren't tormented by the bug being fed, because that was I was always thinking like that's frightening for kids. Like,
because I think when that came out, I think I was like 1 or 2. or something like that.
Yeah,
but I don't remember. I remember seeing it in the El Capitan theater. I remember the El Capitan theater. I remember the dressing of it, but I don't remember the movie. So it's either I knocked out or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the same way, Arsenio. Like I don't like specifically maybe remember the first movie that I saw because I was probably like way too young.
Yeah, and it didn't have to necessarily be that, but like mine was just to give you a jump start. You're like, you just don't want me to talk on the show. That's right, Tim. Mine was Pete's Dragon from like 77 when I was like 6. And all I remember is that he was friends with the dragon, and then the dragon had to leave. The dragon was his imaginary friend, and the dragon had to leave. And I remember bawling. And my mom was like, yeah, everybody was quiet. And you were the only one like crying, like you were really loud. And then after that, in 1980, my dad took us to go see Empire Strikes Back at this big giant theater. Like we went out, like I was like, this costs a lot of money. Like my dad, normally we don't go out. We went, they were sold out. He said, how about the next show? We went to Denny's and ate and then came back because we're fancy. We go to Denny's. And then we came back and we did Empire Strikes Back. And I remember I was like, so I don't know if I'd seen Star Wars or what, but I was just like, who's this guy on this dinosaur? What's going on? And I was but it was amazing, like seeing him on Tauntaun. And then of course in the 82, then E.T. comes out and I'm bawling. I got my tattoo of E.T. on the bike. Like, yeah. But that scene, when we get to scenes, I'll just tell you now, because I've told everybody except for Arsenio. This is the power of movie making to me. This is why I got a tattoo. That's why Arsenio rolled his eyes when I said, look, I got a tattoo. He goes, E.T., fucking gross. Was the power of filmmaking is that E.T. dies. You're crying your eyes out. E.T.'s in the box. Keyes says, do you want to say goodbye? He says, yes. He says, I'll leave you alone. He leaves. Elliot opens the thing, says goodbye to E.T. You're still crying. Elliot closes the door, closes the lid. As he's closing it, E.T.'s chest lights up. Elliot doesn't see that and he turns away to walk away. And you're crying, but you're also like hopeful. Like, wait. When he walks by that plant and it starts to come to life, Elliot knows, oh shit, E.T.'s alive. And he turns around and now you see it really lit up. And now you're almost in a giddy, like nervous laughter. Then when he opens that thing and unzips it and E.T. goes, E.T. phone home. Like you're just like, you're happy, but makes you just like break down. And so if Arsenio, if you go to my Instagram, go down and you find a picture of me crying, like a video of me crying, that's me watching E.T. like last year or two, whatever it was. And it hit me in the exact same spot. Like I'm still crying like I did in 82. Like my mom cried when he left. I cried when he died, but was happy when he left. So that's right there in that thing is Spielberg being like, let me take you on this journey real quick. Like you're sad, you're happy, boom, like roller coaster. So anyway, sorry. We'll get to scenes later, guys. That's all about me. I told you, it's my show. Okay. Oh yeah, let me go down to Chip's first scene. Goodness, I'm gonna scroll all the way down. Okay. Chip says the first movie he saw in the theater, I remember hanging with my cousin bro, that's me, in the back of my parents' white station wagon, bored out of our minds at the drive-in movie of Star Trek The Motion Picture. So his dad was like a big Star Trek fan. I was like, we gotta go see this movie. And Chip and I are young and we should like it's 1980 and it's space and Star Wars already came out. Like we should like this. And or 79 or 80. And we are just like, you remember the bald girl and that's all. And you're just like, oh my God, like, oh, so boring. But yeah, but that's the one that we remember. He remembers that because he's 47, so he's 3 years younger than me. And then Brandt, our friend here at the show, says the first movie that he saw in the theater, my parents took me to see Pinocchio and the Aristocats. See, I got that joke. Aristocats double feature at the drive-in when I was young. I must have been 3 or 4. So that's okay. Now that you guys fell asleep, wake up, guys. Number two, not number two. That was number two. Number three. Who are your 5 favorite directors? Want me to go first? You guys go first. What?
You can go first.
Yeah.
All right. Want all 5? We'll do all 5 because we're kind of in a crunch in a way, but and then we'll go off on them later. Mine in no particular order, like all of ours. Quentin Tarantino, Christopher Nolan, Alfred Hitchcock, David Fincher, and Michael Mann. And then for like, I have other directors to throw at, like Craig S. Zoller. Have you guys seen his stuff?
Hell yeah. Craig Zoller's
Like,
awesome.
I got him as like, I was like, I should replace Alfred Hitchcock with him,
Mhm.
you know. But and then like Michael Mann not making movies anymore. So you're kind of like, you could pick other, but I'm like, okay. But anyway, what do you guys got?
But Heat.
That's right. I know, right? That's all I was gonna say.
Let's see. For me, I have Spielberg, Guillermo del Toro, Nolan, Tarantino. Shoot, where's my other one? Tim Burton will be my top 5, and then I have David F. Sandberg in there, Robert Zemeckis, Scorsese, Sam Mendes, John Krasinski, John Favreau.
Nice.
I got a lot.
Nice. Yeah. See, I could add like Spielberg. Like I love Spielberg. I have almost all of his movies. It was a thing where I thought West Side Story, like why? Like who needs it? Like, am I gonna watch it? And then I watch it. I'm like, I guess I'll watch it. What the fuck? And I watch it, and I'm like almost in tears. And I'm like, holy shit! Like that's amazing.
Like that's what I was telling Tim is like, because I remember seeing the original one, and I'm just like, whatever. It's like it's just whatever. It's boring to me. But seeing this one, I was like, well, and because it's Spielberg's passion project, and it was something that he was so like, I love this movie, and I can't wait to update it. And I was like, all right, well, you know, not only because it's Spielberg, but it's just like he's coming with this new vision to it. Let's see what he does. And I was so much more invested in it this time around than the original one. And I'm like, love it.
And that he went from the original, like when he used to listen to the soundtrack at home before the movie, and was like, you know, in like 58 or 57, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, it was. And then Tim Burton, that's interesting. I think Chip has that. Tim Burton, like all Tim Burton, or like old Tim Burton?
No, all Tim Burton, because it's like no matter, regardless of the movie is good or bad, it's just it's still very visual. It's still very quirky. It's still very him, you know. So it like for me, it's like I love his style. Style of like filmmaking and stuff like that.
And that's what we're saying about, for one, if I didn't make that clear on my last whatever, that I'm not a director. Like I cannot do what you guys do, and as much work as it takes to make a film. That's why me and Brandt are like, well, me and Chip too, like kudos to these guys, like go for it, like do some shit. But it's that thing of that we talked about on the last episode for Streets of Fire. Like Walter Hill had a vision. It was like, I want to do like Warriors, but broaden out the world, and almost took on too much, where then they go to watch it in editing and they're like, did we do too much? Like it's gotten out of control. And then you got Michael Pare trying to be the lead, and you're like, that's where you fucked up. But anyway, I'm sorry. Tim's chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
Getting nothing today.
That's right.
So I got a lot of directors.
That's
I did a top 10 instead of top 5.
All right, hit us with it. And we can stop and jump off on these and criticize you if you want.
I mean, you can. And then I got my honorable mentions too. So
we got hi Mark. You got that guy.
He's number one. Number one.
Tommy Wiseau.
No,
I haven't seen that movie yet, by the way.
It's good. I think it's a little overhyped then.
Yeah.
Because people say
the Disaster Artist
or The Room.
No,
The Room.
Yeah,
I love The Room. Oh my gosh.
I think
it's
a little overhyped now.
I haven't seen The Disaster Artist because I want to see The Room, but also
definitely
Tim
see The
is
Room
saying,
first before Disaster Artist.
But Tim is saying it's no Samurai Cop. So
it is no Samurai Cop.
Like, give me Samurai Cop all day, every day.
It's no Neil Breen movie, but
yeah.
Jeez.
Neil Breen number 1. So I got for my favorite directors John Carpenter, Guillermo del Toro, Akira Kurosawa, Chan-wook Park, Joon-ho Bong, Scorsese, Chaplin, Terrence Malick, Richard Linklater, and Masaki Kobayashi, who did Quiet On and The Human Condition.
Who was the guy after Park? Park did Parasite, right?
No, that was the guy
No,
after
that
Jun
was
Ho
Wong.
Bong.
That was
Yeah.
the guy after.
Park,
So
Chan
Park
Wook
was
Park
that
did.
the one that
He did Old Boy.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
The original.
The
Old
original
Boy.
Old Boy, yeah.
Because I liked The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. Who did that one? That was.
I'll look that up. That's the guy that
But
did he also did a movie called I Saw the Devil, I believe.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh,
I
you
Saw
showed
the
me that
Devil.
one.
Oh
Hold
my
on.
God, I Saw the Devil.
It
I
is
should put that as
Kim,
one of my favorites.
Ji Woon Kim directed that.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I Saw the Devil. We did an episode on it. We did
So good.
A Train to Busan and I Saw the Devil. I tried to get Chip to watch that because it's so fucking twisted and gets in your mind. And speaking of good, the bad, and the weird, did you see I got my John Carpenter shirt on?
Nice.
The trucker, the sorcerer, and the thunder.
Nice.
So Big Trouble in Little China. People who are just listening to this and they're like, we can't see your shirt, fucker.
And then I got for my honorable mention directors, Robert Eggers, Barry Jenkins, Robert Altman, Wes Craven, Sergio Leone, Romero, Jarmusch. And then I put these two guys on because they only did one film, but Herc Hervey and Charles Lawton. Since they only did one film, it's kind of like I can't really.
What did the other guy do?
Herc Hervey did Carnival of Souls, and then Lawton did Night of the Hunter.
That's the one with the see. I get Carnival of Souls mixed up with the one that Francis Ford Coppola did. That first one he did starts with a C.
Oh yeah. I think I know which one that is.
But yeah,
Carnival of Souls. He only did it and then never made another movie.
Yeah. But yeah, Lawton, you're like, come on, make another fucking movie,
right?
But
everyone hated it.
So good.
It was the same thing that happened to Jack Black. Like everybody hated The Pick of Destiny, so he never wrote a script after that because he got too discouraged about it.
Did you ever watch? Do you have the Criterion of Night of the Hunter?
I do, yeah.
Did you watch that added stuff of like flubs and them just making the movie? Like
I think I started. I started it, but yeah,
Robert Mitchum like being an actor, like it's just really interesting. But yeah, it's like 2.5 hours.
I think I started it, but didn't get through I didn't get through the whole thing.
Those are all great directors. I should have put Akira Kurosawa on mine. And then in another movie that sticks with you that I can't believe again, just like I Saw the Devil, I didn't put like Houseu, however you say it.
Oh yeah,
House is like
Obayashi.
When I first watched that, I'm like, this is like Happy Days meets like it starts out with like the weird so good. But anyway,
I think he also he might have done more films, but I think that's his most like accessible one to everybody,
which is weird that
not accessible in terms of content, but accessible is like it's the easiest to obtain.
Yeah, when I tell people House, they're like, I saw that movie with Richard Mall, and no, not William Catt.
I saw
Richard
the
Mall,
show with Hugh Laurie.
But yeah. They're like, oh, he's a doctor. Chip's favorite director: Richard Donner, John Hughes, Tim Burton, Quentin Tarantino, and Rob Reiner.
He did Princess Bride.
He did,
right. No, I know that, but I was just like, wow, I that's a name I like.
When I read that, I was like, really? But which is weird because I had asked Chip right before he sent me this list. I'm listening to Ladies Guide to Dude Cinema, and they just watched This Is Spinal Tap for the first time, and they were like laughing about it and quoting, and I'm like, oh shit, I need to, for one, buy that movie, and for two, like we should put on the show. And I asked Chip if he'd seen it, and he said no, and Rob Reiner directed that. It was like his first. And then Brandt says his favorite directors are Terry Gilliam, which is a good one.
I almost put him on mine.
Christopher Nolan, George Stevens, Alfonso Cuarón, and Joel Cohen.
I almost put Cuarón on mine, but I was thinking about I like more like Guillermo's movies versus like Cuarón.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, but that's like with Eggers on yours. See, Alfonso, I'm fine with your list. But Tim, now come on. Eggers, like The Witch was good. Lighthouse, I get what they were going with it. Like I like the acting in it, but it's like, so I have to watch The Northman now. But I'm just like, I don't know if he's, and I've heard that's what's I think for me, like a divining rod. Like people are like,
I think for me with him is like he's doing what he wants to do. Like
Yeah,
he's doing,
it's like
and
Craig S.
he's
Zoller. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
same
like,
with Zoller.
I'm
But
gonna
like
make this shit. Yeah,
Eggers has even been like, I'm never gonna make a movie that's set in modern time. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna keep doing all these like weird times and different cultures and time periods.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So he's doing like
Yeah.
literally just doing what he wants to do.
yeah.
So it's like
which
I
is good.
respect that a lot.
Yeah. And now I'm trying to think. What did I'm trying to pick on Alfonso? Let me see.
I'm noticing that nobody did Edgar Wright.
I almost put him on my honorable
Oh,
mentions.
that's true.
Like
yeah.
like now that I'm hearing everyone's list, I'm like, shoot, I didn't even put Edgar Wright on there, but he's a really good director.
Well, I feel like I also look at my list. I didn't put Tarantino because I had him on my list, but then I think I've talked to you, Arsenio, about it, where it's like I like Tarantino as a writer more than a director. Like I'm more fascinated by his scripts than actually like how he composes a scene, because I think a lot of his films work with like the editing and music versus like, and it goes to his directing too. So
yeah.
and
but like
how his script is paced.
But also, like, none of you said Alfred Hitchcock. But then again, like, what was cool about Hitchcock when he was starting out in the silent films was he was just like, it was almost like Chaplin and Keaton, where I think I told you, Tim, when we were on the show, that Keaton would be like, I'd come out with a movie and be like, beat that, Chaplin. Like, I have 15 title cards. Chaplin come out and be like, I got 14. And then he'd be like, fuck, now I got to do, 13. And that's why Alfred Hitchcock has this good eye, because he can be like, I'm going to make it, explain it in the story so I don't have to tell you. Like, you'll get that feeling.
I think I think I almost put Hitchcock on my list. And like I the way I kind of looked, I don't know how you did your list, Arsenio. I kind of looked at all these directors and kind of took things they've done or ways they've approached how to like manage scenes. Like I was literally just talking about Robert Altman with Alex the other day of like, he has these large A-list ensembles of 30 actors, but he's able to like maneuver around all 30 of them and give them not only enough screen time, but like you're invested in all their storylines.
Yeah.
And the same, I think it's the same thing with Jacques Tati from France. Like all of his background characters.
I have him on my Criterion channel. I added that after when I talked. Like, I gotta watch his stuff. Did you guys have Michael Mann on your thing?
I did not have Michael Mann. Like I like.
And
this
actually,
stuff,
looking at right now, I took Hitchcock off to put Tarantino on because I was like, okay, my top whatever. But I was like, I don't always go for a Hitchcock movie. I always go for a Tarantino movie. So I think that's where I kind of traded off. But like, I love how Hitchcock directs a scene. From his early work to even because. I remember my friend Jackie, she told me about Rope, and I've never seen Rope before, but she had the DVD and she's like, oh, watch it. I watched it and I was like, okay, spoiler alert, there's a murder within the first 2 minutes of the movie. And now the whole movie is
hiding the murder.
Discovered, it's hiding the evidence. And I'm like, and I'm like, that's an interesting take. I've never thought to like, murder in the first 2 minutes or the opening of a murder. And then now it's cleanup, now it's, by the way, let's host a party, in the same place we just killed a guy. I'm like,
and the same thing,
never thought of that before.
And the same thing with like going along that lines is like, I didn't put him on my list and nobody had him on any list, but Alejandro Iñárritu is like, if I'm going to go for a one take movie like Rope or Birdman, I'm going to go for Birdman because, and it's probably just longer, well, it's more like the technological advances too. Like Rope is kind of just seems like I watched it. I'm like, okay, it's cool that it's one take, but it's a stage play where Birdman's so intricate, going in and out of buildings on Times Square.
And also back then, there was a picture I had, I think when Chip and I did that episode of Rope, and the camera was huge. So when and it had these huge wires, so everybody had to step over the wires and like all this stuff.
Well, then you can kind of tell whenever they're going to change the reel out too. It's like they'll go in.
It's a thing from exactly like goes into somebody's back and then back out. It's like 10-minute shots. And then the other one was that we didn't was that shot in Children of Men, like all in the car.
Love that.
There's one like that on Raid 2 when he's fighting that guy in the car.
I have that movie. I've yet to see it.
You need to watch.
I need to see Raid 2.
It's better than the first one.
That's what I've heard. I need to watch it.
I think well, that's also the work of like Chivo as a cinematographer. So it's like who's worked with like Burton and Cuarón and Malick and Iñárritu.
Yes.
So
So some of that with directing too, you go like it's part of that, like that I was thinking of. So I spent a lot of time on my Citizen Kane Mank episode, and then nobody listened to it. I mean, it had maybe 30 listens or 20, but I did all this research of like for Citizen Kane. And what was cool was Greg Toland, like he was like, he would ask him questions. Greg Toland's like, he said what was cool was that I can't even think of the fucking director's name.
Orson Welles or
Orson Welles.
There
Thank
it
you. Orson Welles was like, I want to do this. And he was like, okay, let's try it. Let's put the camera in the floor then. Let's do, it was just, and they were both kind of learning, but also he was learning. Anyway, it was way cool. Okay, guys ready?
Yeah.
Actors, directors, actors and actresses. So, here we go. Here's the 50-year-olds' favorites: Jeff Bridges, Robert De Niro, Richard Dreyfuss, Ben Foster, and Al Pacino. So I really like Ben Foster. Before I almost put, I had, you guys said like actresses, and I said, yeah, but then I'm wagging dicks all around here. I had Elizabeth Olsen on here, but then again, it was just because I was blown away by her in Wind River. Like she was really good.
Oh, yeah, she's great in that.
And then that made me think of Hell or High Water, and I said, oh, I always like Ben Foster in that soldier movie and everything he's in, the remake of The Mechanic. But anyway, sorry.
I think Ben Foster's a pretty underrated actor too.
Exactly. Yeah, he should be more. So he's in a new thing on what's that, HBO Max, like a boxing.
I think
like he's in a concentration camp, and they have him box. It's crazy. But okay, who do you guys got? Who's next?
Go ahead, Tim.
So I got on my list, I got some honorable mentions too.
Right.
So I got Robert Pattinson, Song Kang-ho, who's the dad in Parasite, but he's in like any big Korean movie, he's in it somehow. Colin Farrell.
Speaking of that real quick, who I like also is the guy on the main guy on the train that gets bit on Train to Busan.
Oh yeah,
I love that guy. Like that guy's so cool.
I almost put I'm gonna look up the guy from
Colin
I Saw
Farrell's
the Devil.
real good.
Colin Farrell's good. I almost put Choi Min-suk
that-
on as well because he's from Old Boy and he's also super good in like everything he's in.
That bad guy and I Saw the Devil is
Choi Min-suk,
really good.
But I put Song because he's more versatile. I think like Choi's either like the good guy or the bad guy. Like Song literally can play any role. Colin Farrell. I put Willem Dafoe. And then I'm gonna move him up on my list. I have my list not in any order, but I'm gonna put Brad Pitt as one of my favorites too.
Cool.
Because I've talked about it a while, and I heard it from somewhere, but he's an A-list actor, or he's a character actor stuck inside an A-lister's body, basically. Like he has the look of a movie star, but he's so versatile with the characters he plays.
Yeah.
And then my honorable mentions were Johnny Depp eras, like 90s to like 2007 Johnny Depp. Benicio del Toro, Tom Waits, Jonathan Majors, and then just because I've finished the newest season of Barry, like Bill Hader as an actor is so fucking good.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
And as a director too.
And also you guys talked about it. You might, Arsenio might have it on his list, but like the guy from No Country for Old Men,
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem.
I almost put him on my list too.
Yeah.
He's always great. Whenever Chip and I are doing Recasted, I always like, what about Javier Bardem?
Yeah.
So
let's see. For me, I have Jack Nicholson, Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, Anya Taylor-Joy, Leonardo DiCaprio, Lady Gaga, Daniel Day-Lewis, John Bernthal, Matt Damon, Gary Oldman, Ewan McGregor, Charlize Theron, and Tom Hardy. And because you reminded me, Christian Bale as well.
I will put him on my list too.
Yeah. Christian Bale, like the fighter, and then the mechanic, the other mechanic,
the machinist,
the machinist, yeah. And then
and
Ford versus Ferrari as well, like
that one where he got shot down, Vietnam, the Vietnam one, that was good.
I remember that one.
Can't think
That
of the
one.
name of it.
Oh, is it
It's not Empire of the Sun, is it?
where he's a kid or?
Yeah.
No,
The Spielberg one, right?
No, yeah, but that's World War II.
Oh, okay.
This was hang on, I'm working on it. But hang on 2 seconds, guys. You know, he was in Newsies also, which I haven't seen. I remember back in the day I wanted to see it. I was like, I want to see that. Goodness, not gonna get
I didn't know we were doing actresses too, like because I got my list of actresses too, but Arsenio like intermingled his.
well,
Yeah,
and
because
that's
they're
well,
actors, Tim.
I was gonna
They're all actors.
I was gonna do that, but then I became a dick to do men. But I'm looking it up here. It's
Because I got my separate list.
okay. Well,
Oh my gosh, as I'm trying
the
to
Furnace, too,
find
was
that,
good.
as I'm trying to find that one, I'm seeing him. For a brief second, I forgot that he's in The Prestige, and he's amazing in The Prestige.
Yes, Rescue Dawn, right under The Prestige. Rescue Dawn.
Right. Okay.
Everybody, podcast people yelling at us or not. Yeah, we can do. Well, let me get to Chips, and then when you say actresses, that'll make me maybe think of some. But Chips actors are. Oh, did we do direct? No, we didn't do directors of Brandt's.
We didn't do Brandt, so we did Chips though.
Okay, Brandt's is Terry Gilliam, Christopher Nolan. No, we did.
Oh wait,
directors.
yeah, we did.
Sorry, actors. Okay, wait, we're to actors. Goodness, sorry. Now I got to scroll back up. Okay, actors for Chip: Matthew McConaughey, Mel Gibson, Tom Hanks. Since Family Ties, he wrote. That's a deep reference there. Johnny Depp. He said range of crazy characters. Gene Hackman, Never a Bad Performance. So, Gene Hackman, I should have, like with yours, like Jack Nicholson, like Gene Hackman.
I almost put Jack Nicholson too.
Jack Nicholson's amazing.
And then Brandt said Jeff Bridges, Kurt Russell, Kate Blanchett, Steve McQueen, and Gary Oldman.
Kate Blanchett.
I almost put her on my list too.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking of what movie do I see that I'm like, if I see them in it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm seeing that one. And she's one, but my mind blanked when I was writing my list. I forgot to add her in.
Well, like I said, me too. And that was my other thing. At first, I was like, Tim, I'm going to put all these other directors or other thing. And then I'm like, no, I should keep it short because Arsenio has to go. No, I was like, I should keep it kind of short. But then my idea for this was more like, as we say, each one will each jump off of it. But that kind of happened. But anyway, it's fine. It's about you guys promoting your stuff, sushi and whispers. So now, now you tell us actresses, and then we'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
I'm always right. I don't have your girl Anya on here though, Arsenio.
That's okay.
I almost put her on there, but I thought of other people. So I got Ana de Armas, Florence Pugh, of course, Rachel Zegler, Tilda Swinton. I put on Julia Binoche, Tessa Thompson, Regina King, Julie Delpy, Margot Robbie, and I threw her on here because I actually think she is a great actress. Shelley Duvall.
Yes,
and she gets too much shit for The Shining, but she's any Robert Altman project she's in.
I was going to say, what else has she been in that you've seen? But yeah, I need to check her out then in some Altman.
I would check her out. She's in Nashville, but she's not
amazing. Like she could drop the mic after Shining. Even though she was tortured, you're like, thank you. Kubrick, you're an asshole, but thank you.
But she's great. She's good in Nashville, but she doesn't have a lot of stuff to work with, I think. But she's really great in the other Altman film, Three Women, with her and Sissy Spacek. And
yeah, I need to. That's what they were playing that at the New Bev last week or something. Yeah, I need to watch that one. I'm in Arizona, but I watch what the New Bev's playing. Is it Julie Delpy because you're a fan of those three movies, or have you seen her in other things that she does good in?
So I've seen her in those.
Never much cared for her.
I've seen her in those three movies, and I've seen her in what was it? Kozlowski's Three Colors trilogy.
Oh, she was in that.
She's the main one in the white segment.
Oh, okay. And then it was always that same girl.
No. So
red, white, and blue.
So yeah. So what is it? Blue, white, and red. all the characters are in each of the color segments, but it focuses on different stories each one.
Oh, okay.
And it kind of relates. He did like whatever theme that color is, he kind of made like about the film. So then each film has a different theme, but then all the characters are intermingled somehow.
Because I started to watch that a long time ago. You like how Tim comes on here? You and I are naming American people. And then Tim's like, oh, well, there was Kurosawa and there was
Hello.
John Woo Park, Mad Baby.
Well, I think that's where we compliment each other a lot. We're just like Tim introduces me to a lot.
You guys
of
seen Neil
films.
Breen?
A lot of the foreign films. Well, me, like I gravitate more
those.
towards the American ones or those smaller films.
It's the things. What the heck? Oh, okay. That was something else. I was like, why does this say that I'm supposed to read? Now I have written these down from an episode of Lighting Up the Marquee podcast that you guys did last year. Yeah, I erased that shit.
Could have also put like Winona Ryder on the list too.
Winona Ryder, yeah.
Very true. But that's the thing where I'll think like I told Tim this, like I was thinking, oh, he's 25. One of the first things I was like, well, what's some of your favorite? And one of the things he wrote me was like, oh, I just bought the Ingmar Bergman like box set, and I'm like, oh, he's one of those guys. and then afterwards he's like, oh no, I like Chaplin, I like this, and he's like, I just bought the Wong Kar-wai box set, and
I like Piranha 2: The Spawning, directed by James Cameron.
Yes.
So his first that's where he had the fever dream to come up with Terminator,
right?
But that's where you sit there and you go, and then you think like, oh, I'm the only one who knows these, whatever. Also, I was going to say that directors like Fritz Lang and like, who's the other guy? The F.W. Murnau.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Sunrise? Have you seen
I've been
Sunrise?
meaning to see Sunrise. It's been on my list.
I need to buy Sunrise like right away, because when I first saw that, like everything they do in that is so different for that time. Like you're like, holy shit, like it's amazing.
Or like there's another one, Theodore Dreyer, who did Passion of Joan of Arc and Vampire.
Yeah, that Passion of Joan of Arc is really good, done directly from the trial transcripts of Joan of Arc. But yeah, it's stuff like that where I'm like, oh, you nerd, and then I'm like, yeah, I saw that movie. But no, that's what's good about it, is that like I try to tell people, like I have the Criterion channel, and my wife will wake up and I'm watching some black and white Japanese, some noir movie. And she's like, what are you watching? And I'm like, well, I was waiting until you were asleep so I could play this. And she's like, when I'm awake, you have to turn it off so I can hear English. And so I'm like, okay. Or like she woke up one time and I'm watching Ichi the Killer, and she wakes up to see this girl hopping on one leg, and she's like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, oh, well, it's a thing. So yeah,
that's Takashi, right?
But then I can't,
Takashi Miike.
Yeah, but then I can't get her to watch like Train to Busan unless it was dubbed, or And then for me, I bought that Godzilla, Shin Godzilla. Is that what it's called?
Like came out like 2016, right?
Yeah, that one.
Shin
Yeah.
Godzilla.
So I heard that was good, so I should buy it. I bought it on Amazon, but I didn't read that it was dubbed.
Oh.
So it's dubbed and it's okay, but I'm like, oh, it would have been so much better, the other way.
But that's like if you ever bought, like, I don't know how yours, because you have the Raid collection, right, Arsenio? Like,
yeah.
So when I bought mine, like it's in Indonesian, but I got it at Best Buy, so the automatic setting was English. And I was watching.
I got mine on Best Buy too, so I think we probably have the same one.
I was watching and I'm like, something's off.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're like, yeah, it's
especially for those films. I always find it to go in the language of origin, and then have like just the subtitles at the bottom.
Well, yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like when I just put it on and hit play, and it was them talking in English, and I was like, something's very off about how they're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back when Chang and Fat first came to, there was like Replacement Killers, and then but that's where everybody learned of him. But I knew him from The Killers and The Killer and Hard Boiled and all this stuff. And so I was watching all those with his language, but reading the subtitles, so you get the acting out of it when you get the real, stuff. But that's another one where people are like, I'm like, Chip, we should do The Killer on here. He's like, I'm not going to buy a movie for $10. And I watched it once a long time ago. I'm good. I'm like, Chip, come on. Anyway, what are your top 5 favorite movies? And Tim's got 25.
Top 5 movies.
Yeah,
Oh
you
Lord.
want me to go first? Want me to go first?
Tim, go first.
Okay.
Oh Lord. For me, it'd probably be like, I always go back to like Night of the Hunter, Rocky, the original Rocky, Before Sunrise, the original Halloween, or like The Thing.
The Thing, yeah.
Top 5. I'm trying to think of another one.
Well,
That's
that's the thing. Like, here's where you can break it down. So you could break it down into. So I did like top 5, like almost island favorites or whatever they are.
right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I have like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Heat, Once Upon a Time in the West, 7, and Elevator to the Gallows, just because I wanted to show Tim that I was important. No, just because I wanted to tell, in case you guys hadn't seen Elevator to the Gallows, you really need to see it, because that's when I was making this list, I go, oh my God, that really sticks in my head.
You need to watch it, Arsenio.
I'll check it out.
So I got rid of Predator and I put
Elevators.
Elevator to the Gallows.
I think
but it's the thing with don't forget what you're going to say, Tim, just real quick. My thing is like, there's just solid movies. Tremors, Predator, Die Hard, like those are like perfect films. Terminator,
agreed.
Like, so there's those, but then there's also like ones that are special to you. So like Raiders of the Lost Ark for me,
right.
Once Upon a Time in the West, although I like the other, I like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I love A Fistful of Dollars. Like, and then 7, of course, I like all of David Fincher's stuff, but 7 for like seeing that for the first time in theater, just being like, oh wow.
I think with mine, I'll end it with like everything I've listed, and then like same with yours, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Wars movies that I've had my whole life, and then like the original Old Boy. Probably that. It's like movies I just constantly keep revisiting.
Yeah.
And like movies I grew up with, like Star Wars and Indiana Jones.
Yeah, like you said, like one of mine that would be on there all the time would be The Devil.
I Saw the Devil.
I Saw the Devil, like totally. And Old Boy, but I've only seen Old Boy once, but I loved it. But
it's so good every time you rewatch it.
Buy it. And but like those are those movies that you're just like, oh, it's so good, like
so
and like The Killer for me, like The Killer, Hard Boiled. Like, have you guys seen those, The Killer or Hard Boiled?
I've seen Hard Boiled. I haven't seen The Killer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's one of those ones where like I've seen it once, and I haven't been able to, or I haven't found it again to watch it again.
Yeah, it's on. I found mine on Amazon for like $10 on DVD or Blu-ray, but it was one where when I first saw that was the first time I ever saw John Woo. Like that was his big thing. And all of a sudden Chip and I was like, oh my God. And I was spending the night at Chip's. Chip's like, well, I'm going to go to bed. And I'm like, I'm going to watch it again. And I asked his parents, can I rewatch it? And they're like, yeah, it's fucking middle of the night. We're sleeping. Why are you knocking on our door? Yeah, go ahead. So I watch it again. And I was just blown away again. Like, oh my God, like everything they did in there. Like it was so cool.
I was gonna say real quick, the other actor and I Saw the Devil is Lee Bong Hun, who's also in Good, the Bad, and the Weird.
That the cop.
Yeah. He's the one going after Choi Min-sik, and he's also in another movie I completely forgot about from Chan-wook Park called Joint Security Area, or JSA.
Oh yeah,
and that's another.
That was
another super good movie.
I was reading for one that you guys need to get the Criterion Channel. It's like $100 a year. It's like way worth it because they don't just have what they advertise. Like you can type in like Jacques Tati and it'll come up with mostly all of his movies or whatever. But then they have the main ones that like they'll have a Japanese noir or they'll have Japanese post-war or whatever. Yeah, I need to check the guy that you just said, the bad guy from I Saw the Devil. I need to find more movies with him because I love him. Like he's such a good.
His main ones are like I Saw the Devil, Old Boy. Those are like the two everyone goes to. He's the villain in Chan-wook Park's Vengeance trilogy. The third one, Lady Vengeance. which is also really good. And if you watch the fade to white version, that's the one I'd recommend, where it starts out in perfect color, and as the film progresses, it slowly goes to black and white.
Wow. Yeah, because I've seen those. Oh, another good movie is like Audition. Like,
Yes, Audition's great.
oh,
Super fucked up.
but did we get to Arsenio's
We have-
favorite movies?
Not yet. We're getting to there.
Okay, good. Because I was about to read Chips and Brandt's, and fuck you, Arsenio. Go ahead.
Sushi better
good.
be on your list, by the way, Arsenio.
Yeah,
Oh, no, it's on my
hang
Razzie
on,
list, but, you
let
know.
me type it onto mine. Yeah. I got
Worst
the
editing?
Razzie director.
Worst
Okay.
director.
Yeah. His is director and yours is editor.
Yeah. For me, top 5 is Jurassic Park, King's Speech, Back to the Future, Coraline, and Spotlight. And then I have other movies going on from there. That's my top 5.
Coraline's a little like dark, but
Coraline's so good,
that's
though.
that's another solid 5 is like Back to the Future, like
Jurassic Park.
Like Chip and I were talking about it, and Jurassic Park. We were talking about it last week we were talking about casting with that Streets of Fire. Maybe you guys will check it out sometime. It's $4 to rent on Apple. But we were talking about Michael Pare fucked that movie up, and we said at least they knew enough with Back to the Future to pull Eric Stoltz to be like, you're not fitting in. It's not right for you. Let's get somebody. And if it would have been an Eric Stoltz movie, we would not be talking about Back to the Future today.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And Robert Zemeckis probably wouldn't even be where he's at today either if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Not at all.
That was somebody we never mentioned on our director's list either, was Zemeckis.
No, I put it on my list.
Oh, did you?
He was my number 9.
I just ignored
yeah,
you.
it was my How dare you?
Yeah, no, he's a good one too. So favorite movies, Chip has A Time to Kill, Lethal Weapon, another 5-star movie, Lethal Weapon. Superman the movie, another 5-star. True Romance, and Uncle Buck. So
solid list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Brandt has, hang on a minute. It was funny because I was at Brandt's. I'm like, here's what I got. And then he's like, oh yeah, let me jump off of that. Fellowship of the Ring. He's a big Tolkien fan. Tremors, another 5 solid.
That's a 5-star.
Fisher King, Cool Hand Luke, and Heat. So Cool Hand Luke is his favorite movie of all time. Like, and I'm like, I saw it once. It was okay, but I need to rewatch it and see what it's all about.
Fisher King's pretty solid too.
Did you?
I love Fisher King.
You guys didn't have Heat in your list, did you?
We talked about Heat when you were
we're talking about Michael
Mann.
Right.
But I like Heat, but it's just I love the bank robbery scene and how it's shot and how it's edited and everything.
And the dinner scene with Pacino and De Niro.
Yes. But like for me, like I feel like the pacing's a little like too slow for me in the beginning. Like I wish it was like like they had some like excess fat that they could have, cut out a little bit.
I think it's the same thing with like Hitchcock, like how we didn't have him on our list, is like I appreciate the influence more than the actual
right.
Well, and I love their work and I love Heat, but I love like what it led to more so than the actual
and it's like you're saying about Altman, where with Heat you're kind of like, get back to De Niro. Like you're okay with Pacino, but you're kind of like, get back to those guys. But with an Altman, you're just like, follow everybody in MASH. Like, I
think about like Shortcuts too, is like all the stories that interweave and then they all come together.
Yeah, that's what I liked with I forgot, but and Brian De Palma. We didn't name Brian De Palma, which like we said, Hitchcock, Brian De Palma. Yeah.
And it's the same thing with like Altman, like The Player, like the opening 5-minute unbroken take, he literally shows you the whole cast and like every character, and you get who these people are in just that one shot.
And it's like movie making, like right there. Such a good movie. What is a movie or a scene in a movie that really stuck with you? I read everybody's movies, right?
Yes. Okay. So I got 2, and they're not really.
I already said mine. I said like E.T., dying. Like that was the power of movies to me that made me go, like I saw it in 82, 20 years later. I cried again when I took my friends to go see it. And then another almost 20 years later, I cry again on Instagram. My buddy goes, I wouldn't share that on Instagram. Like, how dare you? I'm like, I don't give a shit. Anyway, go ahead.
I think for me, so I have two that stick out with me as far as like technical wise and performance wise, and then I have one similar to your like ET. The one that's similar to ET is for me The Lion King when Mufasa dies, because when you watch it as a kid, and even now, like the way it's executed, the when you first see him laying by himself, Simba's reaction,
Yeah, after everything runs by,
the music
he's
starts
just,
swelling, so good. And then the two that I stand out to me, I look at it more like a director, is they're both one takes. One's from Michael Haneke's Code Unknown, and I cannot find it anywhere on like that, just that scene on YouTube to show people. But it's like a 15-minute or like a 12-minute or 15-minute one take that literally goes through like a radius of maybe 4 blocks in France, and just the logistics of all the extras and the actors performing. They're going in and out of stores. It's just like,
was that made semi recently?
It was made in 2000.
Oh, okay.
What's that movie?
It's called Code Unknown, and I would always try to find just that scene to show people, because I remember watching it in an assistant director's class, because all the extras have to be handled by the AD, and it's like literally a whole city of people. And then the other one that stands out for a performance was Steve McQueen's Widows, when they're in the gymnasium and Daniel Kaluuya is like basically circling a guy like a vulture. And just like the performance he does, the way it's in a one take is just chilling, how he delivers that scene.
Brandt was explaining to me, we were talking a little bit about directing when he tried to do that feature. And he said he had a shot where he put it on a tripod, was filming this guy. And he goes, then he took it off the tripod and was doing this. You know, you don't know if there's going to be violence. You don't know what. It's just handheld. And he goes, and the producer guy that was giving him all this money was like, what the fuck? You don't know what you're doing. You have no idea. He's like, no, this is what. No, I'm pulling all the money. Like, you don't know. And he was like, he had no idea. I go, yeah, that's the thing with like, the Scorsese will do it. And you're like, there's going to be some violence erupting all of a sudden at any minute. Like something's going to happen. No, that's awesome. What do you got, Arsenio?
I think like with Tim, I have two that come to mind immediately. One being Whiplash. In the scene where
I still haven't seen that, but go ahead.
Oh my gosh. It's just,
I hear I should see it.
I love the scene where he's it's him and J.K. Simmons in the band room, and J.K. is slowly breaking him down, you know. And at first he's really kind of charming. He's just like, oh, he's a natural or whatever, and he just chucks a chair at him, you know, and then he just destroys him, you know. But at the same time, is not only is he destroying him, he's like getting under his skin to pull basically greatness out of this guy.
And what I love about J.K. Simmons in that movie is, and people, it's something I hate when people do in real life, but what he does is he'll be your friend, take information from you, and then he'll weaponize it against you.
Right. Yeah. And I'm just like, man, it's just the entire movie is
unpredictable.
Greatness, but I'm just like, that one scene, I just remember was like I felt so much like it, almost like how you're in a room where an argument just happened and you feel the tension still afterwards. That's how I felt. I remember watching that scene. I'm just like, man, that's amazing. Did
you see the short film, Arsenio?
I did, yeah.
That's that scene.
So good. And then the other one, I have to go to, I mean, we talked about Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise earlier. A Few Good Men is when Tom Cruise is just straight up going after him. And he's like, you doctored those notes. Just like, did you order the code red? And then with Jack Nicholson's, I did what I had to. And then they're just shouting over it. And then Jack Nicholson just breaks the chaos of the shouting match with the judge and everyone. It's just like you bet I did. And I'm just like, and I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, wait, he won. I was like, wait, what? I was like,
he admitted it?
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I think like the directing in that was so well done in the performances, because Tom Cruise's face was all of our faces. Cause we're like, oh my God, he actually admitted it, you know, like he got him, you know?
Yeah.
And
it was good for that. It was good because when they were building the case, you were like, this is what lawyers do. Like, this is cool.
Yeah.
But again, Rob Reiner, and we didn't name Rob Reiner. Chip named Rob Reiner, and I don't think anybody else did. But he does great in that. And the thing that I was thinking about a scene, Tim, was like, I saw the devil. He picks his girlfriend up, the cop's girlfriend, puts her in the car. Then all of a sudden he grabs that pipe and she's just frozen, and he just beats her with the pipe, and it's all like, and you're just like, and it's so vicious, and they don't cut away. He just keeps hitting her, and it's like, oh my God.
It's like
and then go ahead.
I was gonna say another scene that's like that too is the whole finale of Old Boy in the penthouse is like, it just keeps elevating, and everything in that climax is perfect.
And something that I didn't think of until you were saying it, Tim, but Arsenio, you were talking about the feeling. It was, me and the wife went and saw Detroit in the theater, and Catherine Bigelow did something. I'd never had this done in a movie, where I felt, like you said, I felt like I was up against the wall and this cop was yelling at me. Like, I was like, because it was part of, are they going to get killed right now? What's going to happen? But also I was so nervous. I remember, like, I was just like, oh shit. Like, I felt like I was in that movie. Like, I was up next to them. And I remember when that ended, I was like, holy shit. Like, that was, that was intense.
I remember seeing that one. I remember seeing that one in theaters too. And that was really intense.
I think another
and especially with him, like him being kind of security guard, but he didn't want to say anything to the cops, and he's trying, and what were you gonna say, Tim?
I was gonna say another intense scene that I just literally just remembered right now.
Samurai Cop.
It is from Samurai Cop.
Helicopter going ahead, and she's like, look out for them, and he's like, let me get my wig.
No, it's when he's like, why'd you go under? He goes, I'm an undercover cop. No, I was thinking, it was the scene I just thought of from The Deer Hunter, the Russian roulette scene when De Niro and Christopher Walken, like that whole scene is, and you just
seen that movie
Walken broken down.
But that thing scene, like you're like pull Walken out, like just hit him, like take him, like come on, and it's like nope, like oh yeah.
And I think I got one more, and it's not even a scene, but it's just a shot from Parasite when the kid is telling the story about someone coming from the basement, and it's just the dude's eyes in the dark. Just that shot is so creepy.
I thought you were going to say like the end, because I was
the
almost
end too, yes.
Like when he's talking about like, and then I'm going to get the money, and you see it, and you're going, did this happen? Because he still looks the same age. And then you're like, oh shit, that never happened. Like,
but it's just that
doing the light.
But it's just that shot of his eyes, like,
and that guy just looks so cool, like so unique.
Well, and it's the way with the lighting, because like in that shot, I've seen it and like zoomed in on him, and like he doesn't look like a human in that shot. Like if you zoom in on him, it's the way they did like the makeup or the lighting on him.
Yeah,
it's so terrifying.
I think I mean, it's not on my list, it's nothing we talked about, but I mean, just going back to this one scene that, I mean, this scene just sometimes randomly pops in my head. It's from The Conjuring 2, and it's Will Arnett. No, it's not Patrick Wilson.
Will Arnett in
I don't
The
know.
Conjuring 2. I want to see that.
He's showing up as a Lego.
I want to see that.
And he's interrogating the demon that's in this girl, and the girl, I remember, she put marbles in her mouth so she wouldn't speak. It would be the demon would be speaking if it was anyone talking. And I just remember him, because his back's to her, and at more and more as she's talking, her silhouette begins to fade into the demon's old man persona. And not only that, but just hearing his voice of him saying, it was like, my name is Bill Wilkins and I'm 68 years old.
I'm Will Arnett.
Yeah. And it's just like, and hearing that and everything, and it's just like the visual and the art, and just hearing it, there's no music. It's literally an interrogation, but in a different way of doing it. And she's completely out of focus. Like they did a shallow depth of focus on Patrick Wilson, and I'm just like, wow, like that's amazing, and that gave me chills like watching that. Like that's one. The movie overall is okay. Like I enjoy the movie. It's not as good as the first one, but that's one scene from the second movie that like
I think
that's a movie.
In The Conjuring 2, I think of the nun scene too, where like the shadow of her walks
yes
from, like, into the frame. But
yeah,
I was
into
also
the
thinking,
frame.
You talk about Patrick Wilson reminded me of Insidious when it cuts to him and the demon right behind him
when Darth Maul shows up behind him
in broad daylight.
Yeah,
but it's like a scene where like you wouldn't expect that in a conventional horror,
especially with the light. Like I was telling Brandt and Chip, I said, when you're watching Lights Out, just go outside. Like don't just stay away from shadows. Like you're good. Chip's favorite scene, so that he remembers, Return of the Jedi, the moment Vader lifted the Emperor to toss him into the pit. It's the first time I felt a chill through my body because everyone in the theater stood and cheered. So I was like, oh man, that must have been awesome. And then you said you liked A Time to Kill. Chip said number 2 is the end of A Time to Kill in the courtroom as he describes what happened to the little girl. And he says, now imagine she's white.
Yeah.
He said, I cry every time. I'm like, oh yeah, that was fucking good.
I remember seeing that movie at a friend's house. And when he said that, I was like that, like it just hit like a ton of bricks, you know? Yeah. And then I was like, Mom, we gotta watch this movie, you know? And so I was just like, it's so good. So good.
It's on iTunes right now, $5. I should probably go buy it because I told Chip we should do that with To Kill a Mockingbird.
That's a good double feature right there.
A movie scene for Brandt that stuck with him was A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger walking down the alley with his arms outstretched.
Oh yeah.
Legs are scraping on the side of the wall. He said, saw that movie as I was 10 years old, and that scene really stuck with me. It both terrified and intrigued me.
And the Johnny Depp geyser.
So,
yes,
yeah, getting pulled in there.
Pulling the bed.
I guess I think it was when I first saw it, I remember it was on
stereo and his headphones. And his TV.
I remember because it was on AMC. You know how AMC has like their horror movie week or whatever. It was my first time. I think it was like I had to be like 8 years old. And I saw it there and I was like, Mom, Nightmare on Elm Street's on, because I've seen Halloween at this point. And she always goes on about seeing Nightmare on Elm Street, and it really scared her as when she was younger. And I was like, oh, it's on. Can we watch it? She's like, are you sure you up to it? Yeah, no problem. I could not sleep. And this is the TV edited version. This is not like the movie. This is like the TV edited version. I could not sleep for a good 3 days. I refused to go to sleep for 3 days. It scared me so bad. Like that movie is just, I think that movie did a great job. And for those who haven't seen, I guess, Stranger Things, what was it, season 4, volume 1? Robert Englund's in there.
That's what I heard. Yeah,
I saw him and I was like, good. Hey, is that Robert Englund? And I had to Google it. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, that's so cool. I'm like, I love it, you know?
He's really good in Stranger Things. Like, I think he's only in the one episode as a guest, but he's super, that's cool.
Yeah, he's only in the, I think it's like episode 4
or 5. He's super good at that.
But he's amazing. He's amazing in that one. But I think going back to Chip, I think you said with Return of the Jedi and where everyone cheered. For me, I remember actually 2 instances, one being a Star Wars one being an Avengers one. The Star Wars one, when at the end of Rogue One, when the door gets jammed and then you just hear the breathing of Darth Vader and then the lightsaber turn on and he just starts mowing people down. I've never seen an entire theater riot for a villain, you know? Everyone was like cheering, like standing up and just like, oh my God, like losing their minds. And I was like, dude, like that's a moment, you know, like I remember that feeling of seeing that for the first time. And then the second one would be in Avengers Endgame. I think Infinity War, definitely the ending, because I was like, whoa, they lost, you know? But for me, for sure, would be Endgame, where you see the portal start coming back and like everyone starts showing up. And I just remember hearing everyone was standing up, like you think you're at a sports arena. Like that's how it was in that theater. And I was like, wow, like that's how, I mean, going back to what we were talking about, like that's the power of filmmaking. And you know, you got everyone so invested that like when they came back, everyone was so like in it, you know, and so invested that they were treating this like it was a sporting event, you know. Like it was, love that moment.
That's where I haven't had something like that happen to me in a movie with the crowd cheering for like a while. But then when you saw, I don't know about you guys, but when you saw No Way Home, like when that portal opened up and they're like, Peter, and Alex and Garfield steps out, and they're just like, yeah. And what was great that they did about that was Garfield was like, I don't know, nobody asked me. Like, and you're like, maybe he's not in it. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, and you're thinking, okay, it's going to be, what's the name stepping through, but it's not. It's Garfield. Everybody in the theater was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, wow, that's awesome.
I think,
then another one, because you said you saw Phantom Menace in the theater, was, and I love it. I don't give a shit about what people say. The pod race.
Yeah.
When it stalls, when he goes up because fuckhead fucked him up.
Yeah.
Then he diverts the power.
Yeah.
And fucking zooms back down. And you're like, oh, I just got chills just telling you guys about
it's Skywalker.
Like, yeah. Like, awesome. Yeah. And same thing with on Force Awakens when she did that with the thing. And then like he's like, what are we doing? Like, hello.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God. Yeah. Cause she's like, when she goes up and it stalls and then he gets in point and then like that whole Millennium Falcon sequence, love it. And then I think going back to The Last Jedi, when Chewie comes in with the Millennium Falcon with Rey, and then it goes into the trench run music, and then they're going through the mines of the planet. I was like, oh my God. Like I remember me and my friend, we were like, I had tears just like smiling, like this big grin on my face. I was like, oh my God. Like that was like, it was so cool to see, you know, and experience that. Like that was so cool.
Well, and even just what was different, not to make this Arsenio's favorite Star Wars podcast.
It all goes back to Star Wars.
On, was that The Rise of Skywalker? What was the one where they're trying to leave? Chewie's in one of them, they think, and she's pulling it down.
Rise of Skywalker.
And Kylo's pulling the other one, and it breaks because they're both and you're like, oh shit. But that was that power of that. Like it happened in Obi-Wan recently where he's like,
oh, I know.
Vader. And you're like,
for me,
oh shit. Yeah.
For me, that one, it didn't. In Rise of Skywalker, that one didn't really get me because I was like, they wouldn't do Chewie like that. And then sure enough, like the next scene, there he is, and I'm like, all right.
But also for a scene. Sorry, Tim, you'll be able to talk on the next.
No,
show.
Tim, go away.
Okay. Was the one when Chewie never got his medal. Even though people are like, come on, like Jesus Christ, like he gave me all this stuff, like fuck Rise of Skywalker, and I'm like, no. When they hand him his medal and that he knows that he just died, like, oh, it's like it's the biggest thing. You're like, oh, so yeah, like you're all choked up and everything. Same thing with Ghostbusters Afterlife. Like I'm all choked up at the end. Like I'm like, oh my God, like they did him right. Like, but yeah, all those movies. But you guys got any film favorites of the week before we end the show? Because somebody has to leave. Although we got 24 minutes. Go for it. What do you have to say, Tim? Maybe we should let Tim talk. Go ahead, Tim.
Shut up, Arsenio.
No, Tim, go away.
I don't know much about a film I've watched. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been watching Barry season 3, and then I rewatched the first 2 seasons with my parents. So I like rewatched the whole show.
I need to get into that. Yeah.
Barry is so good. Like from the writing, the last 3 episodes of season 3 are all directed by Bill Hader, and some of the directing techniques he used, like there's a shot of him on like a little moped getting onto the freeway of LA, and it literally just tracks him for like 4 minutes as he's being chased by other people on like or no, they're like BMX bikes, and they're going like in between cars. There's like a shootout. It's so he was talking about like Tati was like an influence on it because he's like all these scenarios of like everything happening in the background when like other shit is happening in the foreground that has nothing to do with the story.
they had like I watched it because of you, even though I hadn't seen the movie, but it was like a 15-minute thing of Tati. I forget the movie, but he's in the lobby. He's waiting to be let into the lobby,
Mhm.
and there's a guy coming all the way back
I think
from
it's
down there to like let him
Playtime.
in. Yeah, and like it's all this stuff. Like it's just beautiful.
One like there's like
Um,
I forgot what video it is. I'll try to find it and send it to you both, but it's a
there's a
video from Playtime of like a party, and like
Mhm.
each person talking in that scene has a story going on, even if you can't hear what they're
I
saying,
think
but
they showed that.
every
Yeah,
like there's like 30 stories happening within like a shot.
yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's some of this older stuff is even better than now. Like you're just like, oh, come on, like
Mhm.
like.
All those extras
But
would be CGI.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got Cameron in there. Just remember when Cameron was like, "Look, I did it on Titanic. I'm
Mhm.
gonna make I can get a fake actor to whatever."
Or all the clones in Clone Wars.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Something that I didn't like, just real quick. Sorry, Arsenio, to get him on a tangent, is the snow speeders coming in on the Obi-Wan. Like I was like, that CGI is a little
Oh,
rough. It was a little rough, like those.
it wasn't
coming in.
too bad. It wasn't.
But
It wasn't
yeah,
that bad.
it wasn't horrible, but it was a
Yeah.
little bit where I was like,
A little jank.
But
Yeah.
I did love that. I was like, forever when I had a snow speeder, I thought I could only go like close to the ground or as
Mhm.
high as a AT-AT. I'm like, oh, I
Mhm.
could take it like almost out
Higher.
to yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, shit, take me back to my childhood.
Yeah.
But something that I did want to talk to you before we let you guys go, or whatever we talk about films, whatever we do, it doesn't matter. You don't have to give your favorite. One of them was I saw a movie called FX from 1986, and it's about a movie special effects man is hired to fake a real life mob killing for a witness protection plan, but finds his own life in danger. So they're like, we want you to pull the trigger. And then all of a sudden they're chasing him because they're like, you killed this guy. And so I haven't seen this since 1986, but I watched it recently. I saw the beginning of it and I'm like, this is really good. But I'm wondering, is it going to falter at the end? Like, does it have this big, great buildup and then just kind of,
Teeter out at the end.
Mhm.
yeah. But the question I want to ask you guys, because you guys are like, well, what about our favorite film of the week? Fuck you guys. Now you got the real Phillip. Now you're at the end. I'm like, I don't give a shit. No. So I told you about in the beginning, I don't know if we're recording, but I bought these G.I. Joe figures. So they're 6 inches. They're awesome. They got really good articulation. So I'm 50 years old. In 82 was when G.I. Joe came out with the little figures. And so I was like, Brandt was like, I have all these things. So I bought them from him, all of those. He was like, here you go. So now I'm like, honey, guess what? Like, these are worth money. Like I'm gonna put them up. She goes, no, keep them in the box. I go, keep them in they got articulation. I'm gonna have a guy strangling the other guy while he's pulling his gun out of his holster. Like, no, I'm gonna do a whole movie scene. And she's like, well, then don't talk to me about if they're worth money, because if you're not going to leave them in the box, I'm like, no, I want to display them. And my thing is, if it's me being a Gen Xer, like there's something about us being like, oh, well, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Thundercats, like, oh, are you guys like, oh man, like when Pokemon, like if I had an Ash hat, like I'd put it right here. Like, no, you guys are like, fuck that. Like we're living our lives now. We're not stuck in the past, you know?
Mm.
Or is
Yes
there
and
something?
no, to an extent. To an extent, because like I have here, I know podcasters can't see about my Darth Vader Funko
Bobblehead,
Pop
yeah.
here, and I have at home in LA, I have plenty of Funko Pops of just like movies from general,
Mhm.
and then Tim's seen them. I have director pops here as well, and I still have my thing of Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I was younger. I remember at one point, I think it was like 2 years ago, I got a 3DS. I bought a 3DS just to play the new Pokemon that just came out, you know?
Yeah,
And then and it's just like there's little things like that. I do have a thing of nostalgia where I was like, oh, I remember that. Let me get that and let me like relive my childhood in that way, you know?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
if I saw a collection of the original Bionicles and they're like pristine and everything, I'd be like, how much and how soon can you get them to me? You know, like that's how I kind of am in that way,
Yeah.
but I guess I am in that sense of just like, yeah, moving on with my life, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I remember that, or oh, I remember, just kind of just reliving life, I guess, in a way.
Well, and it's like Chip and I said, we'll let you talk in a minute, Tim. Again, you're the redheaded stepchild, literally. But it's like Chip talked about when he gets his own house, he said, I'm going to do my whole office is going to be how I want it. And I said, we haven't got the baseboards done yet, but when we do, I said, I think this Fargo poster I've had forever. I said, I think I'm going to tear it down. I'm going to put up a coffee, or, I saw the devil or something. I'll put that up here, and maybe I'll change some of these and put up something else. And then with those G.I. Joes, I'm watching these. For one, on Amazon, they have like a picture of them like in a scene. Like you go through, like, here's how they look in the box, here's how they look out of the box. And then it's like them by a tree or something. And you're like, oh, wow. So I was like, maybe I should do scenes. But now I look up dioramas and stuff. And you're like, no, I don't want to spend $180 on a diorama to put. I'm like, no, I'll just put them in like a shadow box and have them do some kind of scene. But that's where I started thinking, Brandt was saying it was something about how we just grew up on, like, our parents like just left us in front of the TV or whatever. And so how we learned our character was watching G.I. Joe and being like, hey, those guys are good, those guys are bad, okay, or whatever. Anyway, I was just wondering if you guys, go ahead, Tim, now you can talk. What about SpongeBob?
I'm kind of the same way, but I lean more toward just like moving forward. Like if there's something that I see that like really connects with me, like, or that I remember, or like something I really like, I'll invest in.
You can just say that I'm a loser. Just say it to my face. You don't need to beat around the bush.
I'm trying to like tiptoe.
Yeah. No,
Through
but
the
like,
tulips.
That and that creepy. My wife was like, that song is like I forget what movie that they played that in.
It was in
like,
Insidious,
oh my god,
that's Insidious.
Insidious. Yeah. She was like, oh fuck. But yeah, like I have all the Jaws Funkos, and then I have the my Alfred Hitchcock Funko that goes in front of my Alfred Hitchcock collection, and then I have like a Blofeld. But like with the Funkos, I'm like, then you have to buy the whole set. Like you're almost like, I don't want to do that. But with these G.I. Joes, like, it was one of those where I go to the wife, I go, honey, I'm thinking $250 for these figures. She's like, what? Like, and I thought she's thinking about like, how are we going to do that? And she later on, when I'm like, I figured out how to do it. And she's like, what are you talking about? I wasn't even thinking about how to do it. Like what? I go, these action figures. Oh, these toys that you want to buy? I said, honey, come on, really? Like, and so I figured I'm getting paid by my brother-in-law to watch his dogs. So I was like, hey, can you just send me the money now? And so I bought these 44 figures. Like, they're way cool. And then I pull them out of the box, and then they're even better when I'm like, oh, their articulation. So it's that thing of when I sit there and go, a 50-year-old wanting action figures, but then you go, but it's the nostalgia of the G.I. Joe,
right?
And that's the only thing. Like I told Chip, I go, you have Transformers, I have G.I. Joe. Like that's our thing. Like, you have like he has whatever Bionicles. And what is your thing then, Tim?
Well, I was about to say, I feel like with like you and me, Arsenio, our generation, like we had like action figures, but it was also getting more into like, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon cards. It was like getting more into different nostalgia pieces versus action figures and stuff like that. And then like,
I feel like our generation's more of like going back and playing video games.
Yeah,
it's like, let's go back
because we were starting to get like into like
getting better games.
The consoles were like evolving.
Yeah, so we had Atari 2600 with one stick and a button. Yeah.
So I think our generation goes towards like, let's go look for like GameCubes or like PlayStation 1.
Right. Or let's go get a Wii. Let's play the first Wii, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, true. But I'm not, what I'm getting at, guys, I'm okay for being 50 and having 6-inch, 44 6-inch figures. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Good answer. The silence
I'd be right there with you. I want a Transformer just that size.
The silence was longer than a second. That meant you both think I'm a loser.
Well, the stuff that I've seen that I've appreciated from like collectors, it comes more from like horror movies. So you see people like with all their like horror movie memorabilia or horror figures, and like they have it all placed exactly where they want it to. So like I respect that a lot of people
Yeah.
who invest in it and make it look nice. Like, so there's a respect value to it, obviously.
Well, and that's what Chip and I were saying. I'll try to make this quick. But when I got my ET tattoo of Elliot on the bike with ET, the guy in Michigan, when I went to his house, he had like a basement, got like this man cave, and he had like these like 12-inch like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures.
That's
and they were
awesome.
like in the trench coat, like with the hat. Like I was like, those are awesome. And he had the Foot Clan, had all these. I was like, that's awesome. And like Chip explained to me, he's like, when I do my office, when he does his office, he's like, I don't care. I'm gonna put up Pokemon stickers. I'm gonna put up everything. It'll be in my head on the walls. Like there we are.
Mhm.
And he's like, what you need to do is do what you want and do it to where, like you said, somebody will come over and be like, oh, I'm not into G.I. Joe, but that's really cool. I
Mhm.
respect that. Or, I got the Freddy Krueger glove. Like, oh, cool. You got the Freddy Krueger glove. You got the Chucky doll. Like, all those collectible things that, and it's more of us guys. Girls are never like,
Or
my
the thing
wife's
I
just
also-
like, keep the Chucky doll away from me. It scares me.
The thing I also find cool is some collectors will like take figures like that. Like they'll take maybe like a 2-foot tall Batman figure and they'll mod it themselves and make it better than how it's actually sold on the market and
Yeah.
like make him look more realistic. Like I saw someone who took like Ben Affleck's Batman, what they sell at Target, completely redo it and it looks so much better.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there was a guy on YouTube that didn't like the foot. There was no foot articulation in one of the G.I. Joe figures. So he took that foot off and put another figure's feet on it so he could pose it climbing up a wall or doing, ninja stuff. But yeah, it's the thing of, and I knew there was nothing wrong with me. I just thought we'd talk about something. I hope there's nothing wrong with it. It's the thing of when you're trying to tell people,
Right.
okay, here, let me say this. For one, it's the thing of trying to tell people like $250. Like, it's the other thing of I reach out to Tim. Hey, Tim, what about HBO Max? And I'm sitting there going, my wife's a nurse. She makes $47 an hour, but she's like $15 for HBO Max. No, I don't even need it. And I'm like, but they got,
They got,
yeah.
and she's like, I don't, and I'm like, well, Tim said, okay. Joe said, my friend Joe Weedman was like, it's not mine to give. And I'm like, oh, and I felt really bad. I'm like, I know Tim through the podcast. He's been on here 4 times. I know him a little, but we're not saying, SpongeBob lines to each other. And then he's like, sure, here you go. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, that was, but anyway, yeah, it was a 250 where I'm like, is that too much? But it's what you love. Like if it was like you said, the Bionicles, if they were like, here's all the Bionicles, $250, you'd be like, yeah, I want to set them up.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, okay, that's not bad for especially for
Depending
all
on
of
how much
the
you got.
original ones and all the pieces and everything. I'm like, oh, totally. In a heartbeat.
Yeah, when Chip and I when he was here, and I took him to this collectible place, and I was like, let's go look at and so it's got all this old stuff. And so I was like, look at these G.I. Joe figures, the little ones. Sergeant Slaughter, like $80 for like the little figure. And you're like, and then you're looking at him and you're going, wow, we used to play with these. Like they look kind of shitty. Like now that you're older, you're going, this is the toy. Like it's barely held together, And so, and like him, he was like, oh, look, here's an original, like you said, Transformer hot rod for $25. It's like, okay, that's good enough. But yeah, it's some of those, or they had GoBots, but they were like broken. It was like, why do you even have them? They're broke. They like, you can't transform them. Like,
because there's someone that will buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Somebody is like, I got the arm. Good. They had the one. But okay, guys.
We will make our own GoBot.
Got anything to share for the 9 minutes before we let Arsenio go?
We got some stuff to promote, Arsenio.
Yeah. Sushi, right? Or is it what is it? Salmon?
Salmon.
Yeah.
So
tofu?
It's tofu? It's not even a fish.
So you did Finding Nemo, right?
Yeah.
To bring you on.
Speaking of Finding Nemo, I saw
Finding Sushi.
No, I found the funniest tweet that was like, it was something about watching Finding Dory in like a subtitle language in another country, and Finn is different or End is different. So at the very end of Finding Dory, it says slut. And that's the final frame of Finding Dory, just slut.
That's funny.
We got some stuff with sushi going on. We just can't really announce it yet. So,
Right.
but sushi's
Cool.
still in the festival circuit. Our most recent accolade was semi-finalist at the Paris International Film Festival.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna make sure. That's
Yeah, it was
the-
I think that's the right one because I remember you calling me about that. You're like, dude, we're international. I was like, oh my
Paris
God.
International Short Festival was the last one we got some recognition at.
Nice.
And then Chicago, New York's been giving us a bunch of from Oniros and NY International Film Awards. New Jersey Film Awards, we won some stuff.
Yeah.
So sushi's doing
Yeah,
well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I said, me and Chip are waiting for your Marvel project, and we'll be the guards coming out of the guardhouse. Hey, you can't drive by here.
Yeah, exactly. Or it'd be the two guards from Pirates of the Caribbean where they're just bickering amongst
The
each
whole
other.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then we got our other film that we produced
so-
for Mr. Arsenio.
Yeah. We got Whispers. Right. It got picture lock over the weekend. And right now it's in post production where it's already picture locked. So now it's just a sound design, scoring, coloring, that whole bit. So
Cool.
it's at the very, very final stages of it, and then we'd be all good to go.
And that's the other thing where kind of me and Brandt were saying, like, whether, and just like Chip and I said about Streets of Fire, like they had a vision to go for it. So at least if Walter Hill's happy with like, hey, I made what I wanted to, then that's good. And that's the thing. Like, I remember people go, what about your podcast? Like, you making money? Like, no, I do this because I like talking movies. Like, this is why. And it's that thing of like, if you finish that film and you go, hey, I'm happy with it, it's good. And then you move on to the next one and you got that,
Yeah, that's what I told Arsenio, because he called me, I think right before it got picture locked. And
Yeah, it was right before, because it was right before doing pickups.
Yeah, and he was just like, you're just like, I don't know if it's good enough, this and that. And I was like, dude, when I saw sushi, I hated it. Like when I saw it put together and not like color graded or like scored, I hated it. I was just like, I don't like this at all. But it's gonna change because like I was like, you're literally just looking at the raw footage pieced together.
Yeah. And you have to get rid of your mind of going, man, if we could have filmed, like you said, if we could have filmed those other shots. It's better that it's that necessity thing that works out a lot. It's like I've talked about before where Tim's heard me tell him blue in the face, but Robert Rodriguez at the end of El Mariachi was like, I'm going to put Carlos's dog on the motorcycle. And everybody in the screenings was like, oh, you put that dog on there because now the mariachi has become animalistic. And he's like, no, I put the dog on there because Carlos had a dog. I said, I like your dog. Can we put the dog in the movie? He said, sure. And put on there and it looks cool. It's like, sometimes a cigar is a cigar. It's not.
Yeah.
Trying to overanalyze it.
But it's that thing of Rodriguez going, well, if we had a dolly and somebody going, why don't you use a wheelchair? And he's like, oh, shit. Yeah. Why don't we use a wheelchair? And you watch El Mariachi and you're just blown away by how simple it is. And the chases and like setting up the geography of like that apartment or wherever he's staying, hotel. Like, and I remember when I met that guy, Sergio at Casa Boutique, I said, oh, let's go down there where they filmed it. And then you read like, that's very dangerous. Like, don't go.
Yeah.
Even Robert Rodriguez was like, we went over there, but Carlos lived there. So it was okay. But I lived in Austin. So yeah. But
so yeah, like right now with us, it's basically working with what we can do, but also still keeping that momentum project to project. Cause it's
yeah, exactly. We'll just keep moving. And did you it's like Dory. See, you brought that up.
See, brought it back.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Did you use one of the actresses from Sushi for Whispers?
So no, yes and no. Nadia, who did the music for Sushi, is our lead actress for Whispers, and is also doing the music for Whispers.
It's so weird when I play that song on my, like it pops up on my radio and it'll have the Sushi emblem, and everything. And you're like, oh, cool. It's just awesome.
But yeah, so because she's an actress, so like I've been talking with her for a while, and I think I'm actually going to get on a call with her today about another project. But yeah, we've been wanting to get her back in front of the camera. And circumstances with Arsenio's film, our original lead actress overbooked herself, unfortunately, so we were kind of scrambling. And I was like, well, Nadia said she would like come up to see us maybe that weekend. I was like, well, what, you're coming up already, do you want to do you just want to be in the film, because like, we can use you.
Well,
and it was a happy accident too, because I'm like my side conversations with her as well was just like, oh, we can't wait to work together. And at the time, not Whispers, but I'm working on 2 other ones, scripts I'm working on. And I was like, oh, I'm like, would you mind if I like write one of these for you? And she's like, oh yeah, it'd be kind of cool to work out and everything. And it just happenstance, like what Tim said, is just like, I needed someone almost pretty much ASAP, and she just happened to be available. So I was like, all right, cool, let's go.
Arsenio literally called me, and he's just like, so this happened. And on the phone, I was just like, I got you, don't worry, I know someone.
And so like literally within 2 minutes of me talking to you, it's like, so see if we can get Nadia.
And, I called her, and then like 5 minutes later, I called you, and I was just like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's
so cool.
It's good that she's an actress, that you weren't like I said, when I was trying to do my thing, and I was like, well, you don't act. But my thing back then with my friend Colleen, I remember thinking like, well, she's a writer, she should be able to act, because I act out all my shit after I write it. I'll yell at myself or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. But when you're reading somebody else's stuff, you're not getting it. But it's a thing. But even before that, when I was working at the mall, and I was like, you can act, but it'll be okay. Like, just read this stuff. It's going to be cool, because I just want to get it out of my head and get it out there. So it's good that at least it wasn't somebody like,
just
we're going to teach them how to act. Yeah. Chip said this girl from Miss Marvel isn't an actress. They just found her and was like, oh, you're a fan. Like, and I was like, holy shit.
And she's actually doing really well in Miss Marvel too. I'm very
really
surprised.
But yeah, that's what happened with Whispers.
And so then next, is that going to be the feature, or
that's what or are
you going to do Nick's like buried thing?
So that one, I talked to Nick. He's putting that one on hold, but he has another script he's working on with Raphael, who worked on Sushi. They're working on that, and that one's getting more finalized than Nick's like buried script. I was talking to him. He's going to put that on hold for a little bit, but I think the next thing, at least for like me, Alex, and Nick producing, is we're going to work with Aaron and Olivia, who are in Sushi. They have some sketch comedy stuff that we're going to probably film over the summer, and probably just post up on YouTube as like little sketch comedy shorts, like kind of like a Key and Peele, or I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. And then all through that is going to be the feature project that actually Nadia is potentially going to audition for a part in that.
Somebody didn't send me that script. I don't know who.
We just finished draft 4 of it, so we're working on getting it.
Oh, you did do another draft. Holy shit.
So we're doing that, and then we're going to schedule a table read to get maybe like a 5th draft, and then copyright it before like sending it out to people outside of our circle.
That's cool.
Because right now we're focusing with Whispers, getting like the festival run. Tentatively right now we're trying to shoot for like a July to October festival run, so that way we can release it by the end of October.
It almost kind of works out like Sushi did, like it's leading up, like then you'll do this, and then like
I think that's how we kind of planned it anyway, because remember when Sushi was just a thought, or was like, hey, I might be directing this thing, and then Tim kind of came to me, he's like, oh yeah, and then you can direct something, and then go from there. And I remember at the time I was like, nah, I'm fine. I'd rather just stay editing. I'd rather just edit, Well,
because we were because the idea for the feature came from location scouting Sushi. It was kind of just like, oh, that would be cool to do. And then we just kept it in the back of our minds because we were focusing on Sushi. And then once we wrapped, Alex and I really got into like researching and kind of developing the story. And then from there on out, and then at the beginning of this year, me, Nick, Alex, and Arsenio, because we were all talking about like ideas. We're like, all right, these are all the ideas we have. What can we film this year? Like what's doable for us, and what's like the closest to being ready? which ended up being Whispers was the first one, and then Liv and Aaron's sketch comedy they had been working on. And then we said, all right, they're all out. We'll do like the feature because we know that's going to take the longest to prepare and figure out.
And did you film? I'm trying to watch your time here, Arsenio. Did you guys film that where you filmed sushi, or did
We
you
did
film?
not.
Where did you?
No,
film this?
I filmed it in Petaluma, California. It's nearby where I live.
So right
But
above
what's
like
cool? What's cool about that is like Michael Mann is like, I know LA, like I know all the back streets, and same thing with Chicago. Like I know where to film, get the cool shots because I just walk around, and that's what's cool when you're there. You're like, oh, I live here. Like here's what we should do.
Yeah.
So. Speaking of Tim, sometime I do want to go to Chicago, not with you. Me and my friend we might go.
Not with
no,
me.
I'll go with you, but I know that you'll just be like, come over here, eat over here, and then we'll go over here and eat, and then I'll
Pretty
be all
much.
fat. You have to roll me around. No, I want to go to where Dillinger was shot, which I'm sure isn't a big deal. And
I've been over there, yeah.
the last movie he saw was Manhattan Melodrama, which is actually pretty good, but it's about anyway.
I think I told you where he was shot, like where it is. At least when I was there, it was like a Mexican restaurant there, and then it's like the alley right behind it. But that restaurant's not there anymore, unfortunately.
But I thought the movie theater was still there.
It is, yeah. It's like across the street.
Right.
It's over off of like it's on DePaul's campus, so like getting closer to the north side.
It's always funny on your show when you say stuff like that. Like you people are all talking. You're Chicago going to school. And us listeners are like, I have no idea.
Arsenio's the same way.
He's like, you take the yellow line and you go, and I'm going, I don't know what.
Oh God,
yeah, exactly. I'm just like,
you take the red line. You take the red line north to Fullerton. Get off at Fullerton after you hear the beautiful voice of Lee Crooks on the CTA.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. But all right, guys, I guess we'll let you go, Arsenio.
Alrighty.
Or are we hanging up Tim or just Arsenio?
Yeah, I gotta get going.
We can talk about him. I wanted to talk about him. All right. Well,
I knew it.
Thank you guys. Oh yeah, I need to tell them what's coming up. Chip and I will be back on July 1st for
the bank loan, just enough to keep your mama poor. Thought they could swipe her land.
It's a big bank. It's too big. That's what she said.
Now they can foreclose on Friday. So come hell or high water,
get the money to the bank on Thursday.
And then you are free and clear.
Little brother, let's go get that money.
Good morning, folks. Open the drawers.
You got a gun on you, old man?
You damn right I got a gun on me. Y'all gonna steal my gun too?
We ain't stealing from you, we're stealing from the bank.
Woo!
You hear about these bank robberies? You may get to have some fun before they send you off to the rocking chair yet. I may have one hunt left in me.
Mama, in that been a while?
3 months.
Bank breathing down her neck.
Everybody get on the ground!
Y'all been here for a while?
Long enough to watch the bank getting robbed. Has been robbing me for 30 years.
How'd you manage to stay out of prison for a year? It's been difficult.
Tell them stand up!
These boys know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to raise a certain amount, that's my guess.
Let's go! Drive! Drive!
Toby, it's a good thing you're done.
More doing it.
Every step of the way. You want a little advice? Go see your boys and mom.
You know, you talk like we ain't gonna get away with this.
I've never met nobody got away with anything, ever.
And why in the hell did you agree to do it?
Because you asked, little brother.
Mama, take this badge off of me.
I think I got these boys figured.
He's got no record. He's never been arrested. He don't fit the bill, Marcus.
You may be hearing a lot of things about me and your uncle.
It's getting dark, too dark to see.
Whatever I hear, I won't believe.
No, you believe it. I did all of it.
Feel like looking on heaven's door.
Love you, Toby. Mean it.
Love you too.
You want to get us killed? Huh?
That's right. From 2016, it's Hell or High Water. So Chip has never seen this movie, so it'll be really cool. And we're putting it together with Wind River. So it's a Taylor Sheridan type thing. All right. So certain movies stick with you. They stay in your head and heart forever. So from all of us at My Cellular Heart, keep watching movies. You guys have any movie lines to say? Any SpongeBob? Anything?
Oh God, SpongeBob! It's a million miles an hour right now.
I know, seriously.
I know.
Oh.
I guess I would say, just because it's top of my head, was
Who
the
you
one
calling
of,
Pinhead?
What if she's white? Like that was all I can. Time to Kill.
SpongeBob said that.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh my God, redo that. That's what else. So I get those, just real quick. I get those G.I. Joe figures. Chip's like, what if you redid them, like did murder shows with them, and like did Kurt Cobain really shoot himself with a shotgun?
No.
And then you had like Duke trying to hold the shotgun, and I was like, dude, don't, like, now I want to do a YouTube video of like recreating all these murder scenes.
Oh no!
But yeah, but
You got a SpongeBob quote, Arsenio?
I think the one that comes off the top of my head is oh shoot. Probably just going off of yours. It's like, all right, Pinhead Larry, your time is up.
Who you calling Pinhead?
That's perfect. All right. Bye, guys.
Oh,
See you.
See ya.